gonna make it this time. We're gonna take it home. Let's go. Let's go. Do it. Do it. Make it happen. Where there's a Met man, you'll find a Mets fan. Let's go. Let's go. This is a Mets year for all your Mets here. Let's go. Let's go. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Make it happen. There's no stopping us now. We're gonna do it again. It's not a question of how. It's just a matter. It's just a matter. It's just a matter of when.
Hello again, everybody. Joe Piscopo, Shea Stadium.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets It Rob, and we are here for Game 2 of a 3-game set. Mets and the Braves in Atlanta at Truist Park, and unfortunately for our New York Mets, they completely spit the bit yesterday when they had a 4-1 lead, and it happened rather quickly in the 6th inning, and everything unraveled in that inning from Carrasco to Drew Smith and so on and so forth. And it ended up being a 6-4 loss and 4 straight losses for the New York Mets. And it comes back to the same situation where, you can blame one person, you can blame anybody you want, but collectively it's a whole bunch of problems. And the way this team has been the entire year for 61 games so far, they just have not connected with everything going at the same time, from pitching to hitting. It just doesn't come together. It hasn't glued all together this year, and it's been a big problem why this team is hovering around 500 for the majority of the year, and it's frustrating. But we did see yesterday Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso, 2 guys that need to get going in this lineup, or there is no hope at all for a season that is already, a third of the way through and been struggling for the entire season so far. Lindor and Alonso hit 2 big home runs in the 3rd inning, and all we needed was quality pitching. We didn't need nothing special. We didn't need no, devastating arms coming out of the bullpen here. We needed Carrasco to just get us one more inning, and when he didn't get that inning, we ended up having going to the barons of our bullpen, where you can't trust any of those arms probably until you get to the 8th or 9th when it's Ottavino and Robertson, and you're not bringing those guys in the 6th inning. So it ended up being between Brigham, Leone, and Drew Smith. And I can assure you most Mets fans, probably all of us, don't have confidence in those 3 guys right there. And it ended up being, are you going to live? Are you going to die with Carrasco on the mound, who's shown that he's been getting out of jams all game and has pitched well in the last couple of games? Or are you going to go to 3 guys in your bullpen that you don't trust? And Buck went with Carrasco and trusted his veteran there. And I was not going to blame him. I know a lot of people blamed Buck right away, saying, oh, you can't let Carlos Carrasco go out through the 6th inning. He had 76 pitches, and he got out of 2 big jams, and he was pitching well. Not great, but well. For everybody who complains and bitches about the bullpen, all of a sudden wanted the bullpen to come in the 6th inning, it's not like you were going to trust Drew Smith, Leone, or Brigham anyway. So you might as well go out with somebody who pitched well over the last couple of games and looked like he can get out of jams tonight. Because when he got into jams the entire game, for the first couple of innings, he got it done. And he got out of jams with big double plays, big outs, big strikeouts, and that's what Carrasco was doing. And for people that was killing, Buck for doing something that didn't make any sense, because why are you taking him out when he has 76 pitches going into the 6th inning when he's pitched well in this game? And even after the 2 hits, don't you trust your veteran to get out of it like he did the prior couple of innings? Because I can assure you, I was not confident once they had to bring in Drew Smith or wherever they thought they were going to bring in other than Ottavino or Robinson. It was going to be a dumpster fire, and everybody knew it. So we got Drew Smith, who can't throw his breaking ball. Only good pitch he has is a fastball. So if they lay off the fastball, he was throwing everything letter high, which is a good pitch if your breaking ball is actually worth looking at. And then you got Leone and you got Brigham. Brigham has been decent, but let's be honest, it was already too little too late for Brigham to come in. It just didn't make a difference. I know people talk about high leverage situations with Drew Smith, but again, I don't think anybody would have brought in there other than Ottavino and Robinson, which you weren't going to do because you were going to hold them to the later innings. There was nothing you can do. And why not trust the veteran who was shown to get out of trouble and pitch well the last couple of games? And it just didn't work out. But you also got no other production from anywhere in the lineup, right? Alonso and Lindor, 2 2-run home runs. That was nice. They didn't really do nothing after that. But you know what? They put runs on the board when everybody has been killing them over the last couple of weeks. Where was the other guys? All right. Where was Brandon Nimmo? Where was Jeff McNeil? I think Jeff McNeil was worried about the PGA and the Live Tour merging more than playing baseball yesterday. Like, I don't know where McNeil's head was, but he should have caught 2 of those balls yesterday in left field that weren't hit hard, that should have been caught, and he looked like he never played left field in his life. And for everybody who just wants McNeil to go to left field, to bring up Mauricio and put him in second base, there's a perfect example of that, because McNeil, as good as he is in a lot of positions, his best position is at second base. So when you start moving people around just because you want a quote-unquote bat, you're going to get shit like this that you saw yesterday. Jeff McNeil was also playing hot potato with the baseball yesterday, all by him lones himself in left field. So it comes back to the same thing, right? I don't care what you talk about with the lineup, right? I don't care if you bring Vientos in there, Alvarez, Beatty, McNeil, Canna, Vogelback. I don't care. You need a little bit of help from somebody else. You had a 4-1 lead, and every time anybody ever came up, it seemed like they were disinterested in doing anything else and tacking on runs. I was saying this the whole time after they scored the 4 runs. You got to tack on runs. Even though I was pretty comfortable the way Carrasco was pitching, that 4-1, the way the Braves were swinging at the pitches of Carrasco and not really, putting everything together there, it took 1 inning. It took 10 pitches in the 6th inning from Carrasco to change this entire game from a 3-run lead until a tie game. It took 10 pitches on Carrasco's behalf. So it happened rather quickly. So everybody wants to be Monday morning quarterback and say they're going to make a decision that Buck didn't make after the fact. That's not how anybody manages. You manage based on the information you got right in front of you and what you're seeing. And there is no reason why Carrasco needed to be taken out of that game. And if you believe that, you were Monday morning quarterbacking, and you were basically making a decision after the result was already done. So that's not managing. That's just seeing a result and doing the exact opposite because that fits your narrative at that point. But when you're managing at that point, when you see Carrasco getting out of jams and pitching well, and pitch well his last couple of games, you rather trust Drew Smith, Brigham, or Leone than Carrasco? I'm sorry. I'd rather go with Carrasco, and I'd rather lose with Carrasco than bring any other of those chumps in. And at that other point, when Carrasco clearly didn't have it after that, you had to bring somebody else in. So Buck had his hands tied in that situation. Again, the New York Mets should have won that game yesterday. But this has been the way they lost yesterday is the whole picture of 2023 New York Mets. And that's exactly what it is. And I'm sorry, but everybody as it was calling Nimmo how much better he's looked. He's actually looked terrible the last month. Absolutely terrible. Striking out, already has 57 strikeouts this year, average, which was well over 300. All of a sudden, it's heading towards the 260s, right? Exactly where he was, right? So I guess he's worth that money all of a sudden, right? When everybody's like, oh, I told you so. Well, you know what? Nimmo, when he's struggling, is one of the worst batters in baseball. I mean, he makes Vogelback look good because when he's slumping, he cannot put the bat on the ball. He doesn't take pitches. He doesn't work the counts, which a leadoff hitter is supposed to do. And he's striking out at a considerably worse pace than he was last year. And that is the big problem that I have with guys that if you're in a slump, at least put good at-bats together. That's why when people want to kill Canna and stuff like that, I get it. But at the same time, why are we killing the people, right? Everybody likes to go after Lindor because it's all about the money. Well, it's not like Nimmo's making $5 million, guys. This guy got well over market value, and nobody's killing Brandon Nimmo. When he had a great April, and then the month of May was absolute dog shit, and it's turning into that in June so far. So let's not act like you pick and choose who you want to kill, and then all I heard was yesterday, oh, Vogelback. Yeah, because Vogelback was the biggest issue last night when it was Drew Smith, where it was Brandon Nimmo looking like he was disinterested and worrying probably about some church-going affair he has to go to, right? He was absolutely ridiculous yesterday. I was embarrassed for Nimmo. That's how bad he was. And then you have McNeil looking like he was in a circus yesterday. 2 balls that weren't hit hard, that sit up in the air a long time, he didn't make the catch. He had bad jumps, and even if he had a good jump, he didn't get to the ball. And then we knew what he did, played hot potato with that ball where Rosario hit and put it into a triple. That also cost another run where the Mets could have come in the 9th inning, and Alonso missed the home run by like that much. Might have been a tie game if that ball would have went fair. But it might have been a whole different mental situation going in down by 1 then instead of down by 2. There's so many different things. And again, you can blame who you want. It is the entire team. But we're only focusing on Francisco Lindor because he's the $300 million man. Well, Nimmo got paid a hell of a lot of money. Where is the criticism towards Brandon Nimmo? That's not happening anymore? I'm sorry. It's like it's absolutely hilarious to me who picks and chooses who is the biggest problem. When, yes, everybody is the biggest problem, but just because you might like a player doesn't mean you can't criticize him. All right? I still always said this, and I said Nimmo is not worth that money. Sorry, he is not. Because when he's cold, he looks like a guy that shouldn't even be in the lineup. That's how bad he is. A guy that you trust to work the count and get on base is striking out at more of a pace than he was last year. And for the most part, since he's been a starter every day in his career. All right. He has 57 strikeouts in about 150 at-bats. That's a problem for Brandon Nimmo, who is your leadoff hitter. Yeah, Muttley, I am fixated on Nimmo. You know what? Because nobody else is. That's the problem, right? You want to – everybody, oh, look at Lindor. Let's kill Lindor. But Nimmo's one of the highest paid center fielders, not named Trout in baseball. So why don't we – we're not allowed to kill Nimmo? All right? Nimmo has gotten better, and I would obviously admit that. But I haven't heard anybody talk about Nimmo's problems. He's been okay, pretty good, pretty damn good in the field. But we do need him to be a leadoff hitter. Yeah, through April and early May. You know what? It's last time I checked, it's June 7th. All right, that's a full month of Nimmo being absolutely garbage offensively. Again, he's not the only one. But here I hear everybody bitching and moaning, making all these beautiful names for Vogelback. Great. We know he sucks. Right? We all kill Lindor because he makes the most money. That is warranted. I'll give you that. But Nimmo is not making $5 million a year. And that is the problem. Again, we can kill the whole team. They all deserve to be killed and criticized. But we love to pick and choose one or two players. That is the main problem. Okay, fine. But what was the catalyst of this team last year? 1 through 4, right? It was Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso. Even when 1 or 2 were cold, there was 1 or 2 that were hot. And you can balance that out. Marte struggled basically the entire season except for the last 3 weeks. So I guarantee you in about a week or two, maybe even probably after this Brave series, you're going to see Marte back in the 2-hole where he belongs. McNeil does not belong at the top of the order. Can we please stop with McNeil as well? Okay? Jeff McNeil, the batting champion, can't get out of his own way this year, is batting under his career average. And on top of that, his power is absolutely gone. Mike, I am not only on one person, but what I hear from you, what I hear from other people, Vogelback, Pham, Lindor. You're allowed to nitpick one person like Lindor and a guy like Vogelback, but you can't go on Nimmo. Come on. And again, I understand Nimmo's batting 288, which is well above his career average. But he was batting 320, all right, for the first month of the season, right? I mean, people were giving him gold gloves and, even possibly maybe get a couple of votes on the MVP the way he was playing. He deserved it in April. But you know what? McNeil is turning back to a very similar player he was in 2021. Nimmo is striking out at a more pace than any time in his career as a starter. That's rough. That is rough. And again, everybody is to blame. Nobody is more to blame than the other because they all suck right now. But then again, when the pitching's here showing up, the bats are not here. When the bats show up, the pitching's not here. They can't get it right. And you know what? We're all right to blame anybody you want. But too many people are fixated on one person or two people, and yet I have not one word out of anybody out of Nimmo. I'm sorry. Nimmo has not been good for the last month. All right? Pete Alonso had a great May, sort of, middle of April into basically starting of April into May. And then he struggled for a month. Nimmo's been struggling for a month as well. McNeil has been weird this year, shown no power at all, which sucks. Give me a couple of home runs. But we'll see. He has no, Muttley. He has not been solid. All right. You don't get 1 month of a solid performance, and then the whole month of May you were dog shit. Right? We're killing Lindor for having a terrible month of May. He was okay in April, but we killed Lindor. But the $20 million man in center field is not getting no criticism for having one good month. So that's what we look at now. One good month, and that's it. That means Nimmo was playing well above his baseball card. So he's dropping back down to what he normally is, which is not a $20 million a year player, just like Lindor, who is not a $30+ million a year player. So criticize both of them. Don't just criticize one. That annoyed me. Let's hope the Mets go off tonight. It's about damn time they do it, right? Scherzer on the mound. Could we win a ball game? Let's bring the positivity in. Let's bring it in. Why not? All 3 games rained out. Well, you know what? I mean, it's not. I put something on Twitter that kind of got a pretty good hit where I said it's 87 degrees in Atlanta. There's a little chance of rain, if at all, but there is 1% of chance of rain. So there's an approximate start time of 8:27 because of a delay, of a rain delay. You know what I'm saying? So I put that out there just as a joke because they waited 2 hours for the rain not to come, which was amazing to me. So, yeah. So, well, Muttley, why not criticize either one? Again, we've criticized anybody you want, but it is the whole team. But all I hear is 1 or 2 players, which is an absolute joke, right? Yesterday, it was all about Vogelback on Twitter. Are you kidding me? Like, because he was the problem. It is a team sport. I get that. But certain individuals have to perform for any team, right? Aaron Judge has to perform for the Yankees to do anything, right? You see what happens when he's not there and when he's slumping, right? Pete Alonso and Lindor are the fabric of this team. If they don't perform, you need somebody else to pick up the slack for a little while, and nobody's done that. So Charlie Morton is warming up on the mound. The game's about to start. The lineup will be at the bottom of your screen in just a second, if I can find it. There we go. All right, so the lineup for today is probably not in favor of a lot of people, which is not shocking because people like to complain about the lineup every single day, and it's actually getting annoying now. But, hey, what are you going to do, right? That's what people want to do. So the lineup for today for the Mets is Brandon Nimmo leading off center field, Jeff McNeil batting second, playing second base, Francisco Lindor batting third, cleaning up is Pete Alonso batting first, Beatty, Marte, Vogelback, Canna, Alvarez is your the rest of your lineup. Sorry, I went quick because I see Nimmo coming to the plate. So here we go, guys. Audio on. Let me know in the comments if you can hear it. Let's get a Let's Go Mets chant in the chat, and let's see if we can get the second game of the series and even this series up going into the rubber match tomorrow if the Mets win.
2% width. They're hitting 162 against that pitch, and he's in the 97th percentile of spin rate.
Brandon Nimmo 0 for 3 last night. Takes the first fastball.
Come on, Brandon. Prove me wrong, please. Jeez.
Nimmo, McNeil, and Lindor against Morton, whom the Mets beat at Citi Field on May 1st. The only victory the Mets have against the Braves so far this year.
Michael, he is out of the Subway Series. He's on the 10-day IL. So, and the Mets play the Yankees in like 5 days. So, yeah, he's out, unfortunately.
May 1st, as they split a doubleheader. Check swing foul at the plate.
That's where you don't see Nimmo do a lot. 2-0 count. 3 for his last 24. Can you guys hear it? I just want to make sure you guys can hear it. Come on, Brandon. Let's go. One of the catalysts in the top of the order. There you go.
Charlie's been walking a few more this year. A little over 3.5 walks per 9 innings. Walked 3 and 5 1/3 in that first start against the Mets last month. And the fastball right there for a strike.
Taking that 3-1 pitch, you can tell Nimmo's in a slump.
Pitch to take. I know Nimmo likes to have these long at bats to start the game, but that ball was right down the middle. 3-2 coming, and he fouls back that fastball to stay in.
But, you know, Brandon's walks have been on a decline of late.
Oh, Keith, you're proving my point. Walks are on the decline, strikeouts are up. That's not Brandon Nimmo at all. All right. Putting the good at bat together. Probably his best at bat in about a month. He's staying a lot more balanced, which is very rare for Nimmo not to be balanced at the plate.
The back foot is kind of a sidearm.
Come on, Brandon, let's go. All right, there you go. That's what we like to see from Nimmo. At the very least, 10 pitch at bat gets the rest of the team to see all the pitches. Excuse me.
His career has been a completely different pitcher. 9th pitch to Nimmo.
All right. There you go. 9 pitches so far. Number 10's coming. That's the Nimmo that we've seen in the first month of the season.
His record with those two franchises, 47-18.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, Brandon. There you go. That's how you get back on track.
That's the kind of plate appearance that Brandon.
That's what we haven't seen in a couple of weeks from Nimmo, really.
Winning the first inning, even if we don't score.
I'd rather see him taking walks than freaking Vogelback, that's for sure.
So much this year that scored just 13
Well, Andre, he did it right now. I am happy now because that was one of the better at-bats we've seen in a while from Nimmo. Yesterday, he was swinging at everything. And this guy just swings at the first pitch every time. Like, why throw McNeil a strike on the first pitch? He swings at everything.
And McNeil struggling since the beginning of that last homestand against Philly.
Come on, Jeff.
4 for 24.
Come on, Jeff, stay in there. Jeff, that uppercut swing, it's a replication of 2021.
He made some decisions that
A lot of uppercut swings this year from McNeil.
To stop Riley from taking the extra base.
Gotta level out that swing.
The ball in the corner. You know, it's one of those things. Buck.
Mike, I wouldn't mind a hit and run here.
Base, he put McNeil out on the left, looking to get some firepower, some more punch in the lineup.
But on an 0-2 count, I don't like the hit and run on an 0-2 count though. But earlier in a count, I would agree with you.
McNeil would have made the play.
Wound up being the go-ahead run on the hit by Arcia.
And of course, the play with McNeil been left with Ken is out there. But you're trying to find the right
Isaiah, what's up,
get
buddy?
some offensive punch because that's been the problem. And it's like
Grant, nobody wants to care about the replacement. That's the problem that I have with people saying, "Oh, let's just fire Buck." Great, Eric Chavez, the guy who brought in Luis Guillorme in a big spot when he had everybody on the bench that you could have brought up. He's not hit. Well, Buck said it, Andre, that he wants Marte to feel comfortable at the plate again before he throws in the second spot. Double play ball. All right, so he got the lead runner, 1 out.
He was not running 100% down the line. But I guess knew he was going to beat that play first.
That's what I think what it was here. Or he didn't get out of the box. I don't know. That looked unusual there.
Well, you noticed that, right? Ever since Nimmo got thrown out that time, not supposedly running, he hasn't been trying to steal. And again, you know, with the new rules, Nimmo need to be stealing 30 bases. Sorry.
So here's Lindor.
Come on, Francisco.
Last night is 11th. 42 runs batted in. That puts him 6th in the National League in RBIs. Lindor's got 11 home runs. Ozzie Albies has 13. They're the only two switch hitters in baseball with double digits in home runs. And they both homered last night. This has not been a good matchup for Lindor over the years. He's just 5 for 37 against Charlie Morton.
You gotta love. The first pitch was a ball, called a strike, and this one was a strike, called a ball.
In the middle, and he crushed it.
In the middle? Is that your favorite song?
In the middle.
Good high fastball by Morton. It was one of the
You know,
seven.
Martin's is up there in age, but he got that sneaky fastball. That was 95. Up in the zone,
I like the,
that's a killer for hitters.
Beat me in the middle.
Yes.
Sister Golden Hair.
And he's probably gonna throw a breaking ball in the dirt here. Make Lindor chase.
That's ugly connotations. 1-2 coming is
All right, no fastball.
2 balls,
All
2
right.
strikes. Michael Madsen, that
Yeah.
getting me the creeps just thinking about it.
Yeah, bats from Lindor yesterday. A lot of balanced swings, which is always better to see from a hitter. For Lindor, who's been stepping in the bucket a lot left-handed. Yep, there you go. 2 outs.
And that's the second out.
Set that pitch up.
Ronnie, have you seen more? This is more like
That was a nasty pitch. Set him up with 2 fastballs and then came in with that slider. Pete Alonso getting some boos from the Bravos faithful. Come on, Pete.
From the Atlanta fans for Pete Alonso, who had 2 homer last night. Ronnie, you guys on the TBS broadcast picked up the audio of Pete.
Yeah, I know.
We did as he was yelling out to Elder.
Yeah, Marco, but at the moment,
listen, that kind of
it was trash talking. At the moment, the Mets were leading 4-1. So there was nothing wrong with that. Oh, it hit him.
Hit him on the hand, and Pete's hurt. That one really stung. But he gets right back up and he'll go to first base.
All right, well.
I don't think that was intentional.
Nah, Morton's not a guy to go up to hit guys. That wasn't intentional. He was trying to go in.
And he's hurt. He's
He's definitely got some pain in that hand. And Brian Bacco, the assistant athletic trainer, out there with Buck Showalter to see
Oh, that's not good.
what's going on.
Fastball runs in. You see the catcher set up and straight off the hand. And he's got the hand pad too. They get him on the wrist. I don't know.
I mean, I think he got it on the pad, but it looked like it still stung.
I still say with the elbow pad.
Yeah, Morton didn't want to do that. He saw his reaction right away.
This year, 5th time Alonso's been hit.
He's hurting.
Yeah, he's definitely in some pain. You don't see him grimace like that very often.
His first is always to sprint to first. and not show any pain. So for him to stop before he get there means a lot.
34th time event's been hit this year.
Oh, they're taking him out.
This is
There you go, Brave fans. Cheer that. There you go. That's the best. That's how you know the fans are a bunch of piece of shits. There you go. Oh, Buck is pissed.
And I gotta believe it's going to be fans that come in for him.
Well, they can move Canada first base. But Vanderbilt left.
Well,
I mean, he's been so durable across his career. To see him come out of the game.
well, that obviously wasn't intentional. You saw Morton's reaction right away. He went right down to his knees. Went down to a crouch. Yeah, that's on the wrist. Ouch. Ouch. That's not good. That's the problem.
And then undoubtedly he'll go to left and Canada will play first. Well, as if the Mets needed another problem. That's about
Muttley, I'm not calming down. They were cheering him coming out of the game. Come on.
to be forced to miss any
Like,
time.
You're durable.
don't be Philly. All right? We already know Braves fans are full of shit. But come on.
Or anyone that beats everything on this time, right? He's like a Superman.
Well, Michael,
So now 2 out of 2 on, and a chance for Brett Beatty.
two biggest power hitters in New York might not even play in the Subway Series. But you never know. All right, Brett, come on.
Second, fan of the pitch runner at first. And Gordon's first curveball is in for a strike, 0-1.
No, there's no. That wasn't intentional, guys. It was in a bad spot, but Morton is not that type of guy. Come on. He was trying to go in on Pete Alonso. That was it.
Beatty breaks his back.
Yeah, that's a run. All right, there we go. That's a first inning run for our Mets. That's how you get back at them. Beat the game.
They've been so few and far between.
All right, Brett. Nice job. Good way to fight that inside pitch off.
Good pitch up and in. Tied it. Well, he got the barrel there. His bat just got sawed off completely. My goodness. He almost made that play.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
He went from first to third. So run is
All right, we got Marte up right now.
Here's Marte, who was 0 for 4.
Yeah, Beatty's been struggling too.
Yeah, Starling takes curveball for a strike, 0-1. Alonso last year played 160 games. Year
Well,
before he played 152.
you know,
in the 60-game season in 2020, he played 57.
yeah, honestly, guys, it wasn't on purpose. Again, I'm more mad at the Brave fans for cheering him coming out of the game, which is just stupid. Because I can assure you, Met fans weren't cheering Soroka's Achilles tear on the City Field mound.
To the Marte, and that curveball
But,
away from Murphy, but it was
you know, Morton wasn't doing that on purpose.
1-2.
You saw his reaction as soon as it hit Pete Alonso.
hard-working first inning for
And
Morton.
he's one of those veterans that,
With a 10-pitch
come on,
walk.
he's not going to do that.
27 pitches, and he's not done yet.
But Max might be, Max knows this is a big game for us, though. You got to win a ball game first.
Which had the callus split a couple of weeks ago. And that curveball sliced foul down the right side.
Morton's last start, he was able to go 7 innings against the Diamondbacks. Struck out 9, gave up 3, earned.
Fallon's probably going to go to left field, and Cannon's going to play first.
He suffered the loss, right? That's loss.
3-2 loss. But he pitched well through 99 pitches in that game. This is
Mr. G, I'm glad I can help you out a little bit.
And it's outside to Marte. He's starting to lose a little bit of command as this inning goes along. It's 2-2. Daniel Vogelbach would be next.
Committee, I don't want to say that. Pete started it. No.
There goes the runner for first. Swung and missed, and Marte strikes.
All right, so the Mets get 1 run on the board with a Beatty 2-out single. Yeah. So Isaiah, it's okay to hit a guy in the wrist, which Morton wasn't trying to do, by the way. But again, you're just an idiot Braves fan. I'm sorry. Like, how do you cheer that? So trash talking is allowed in sports. If you don't know that, maybe you're not a guy who knows anything about sports. Clearly, you said that. I'm sorry, Isaiah. You know, I love you on the channel, but come on, that's a stupid comment. Let's go. Come on. Like Pete started what? He trash talked, and the Braves trash talked back. Nothing wrong with either of that, by the way. Right? I'm one for a player showing emotion. Pete showed emotion. He was trying to hype his team up. We've been playing bad. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm sorry. Did it hurt your feelings? I mean, if you think that was the reason why the Braves came back, then you don't even know your own team, because the Braves do this all the time against everybody. They're a really good team. If you think that needs to motivate them, then I don't know what to tell you. Well, that's the other thing too. Like, let's not act like Acuna doesn't do his nonsense around going around third base, doing his hip scop and a jump, coming around third base every single time he hits a home run. That's showing up the team, right? You don't have to say anything to show up a team. Mike, I did say that, but I also said Marte is also got to be the catalyst too. Like, have you seen the Braves shit talk? That's all they do. But you know what? Listen, they back it up. So I have nothing wrong with that. But let's not act like the Charlie Morton was trying to hit him either. Come on, you saw his reaction.
And watch out for the first pitch to Ronald Acuna.
All right, let's see if Max Scherzer can have a good game here. All right, Isaiah. There's enough Brave channels where you can do bullshit stuff. Get away, please. I don't. Come on, that's a stupid comment. Listen, Georgia football is starting soon. Nobody will care about the Braves once that happens. You know what? Maybe we should hit Acuna in the head. He deserves it. If I'm Scherzer, hit him right in the back of the neck. And you know what? Hopefully he breaks his neck. Right? Is that smart to say? No. Nobody deserves to get hit in the head. Christopher, I did. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, there you go. Overrated. How about that, Braves fans? MVP my ass. Get out of here. The Braves won a World Series without that guy. That's how good he is. No, Muttley, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it because you got assholes like that talk nonsense like a player deserved it. I'm sorry. No player deserves to get hurt. And if you're going to bring that bullshit on that channel, on my channel, you can find other bullshit channels to go on and talk about that. There's enough of them. All right? You want to talk about hitting somebody in the head? They deserved it. Please. Bring that shit to another channel. It won't be on here, all right? I agree, Mr. G. I agree. Right? When their team's losing, they're nowhere to be found. They're just like Philly fans. Have you seen a Phillies fan pop up on this chat in this channel for the last since the Mets swept them? Oh, yeah. Got him. Ooh, close. Well, that was a nice play by Francisco, but I think Olsen beat it. Beatty with a single.
The teammates on this are going to go, a big guy like you, 17 home runs, and you have a little
close play, but just beat it by a step. Good hustle by Olsen there.
Wow, he doesn't get too many leg hits.
Well, Acuna should get hit in the head every single time, no? Right? Every time he does that stupid thing around third base when he hits a home run? That's not showing up a team? Yeah, that was a nice defensive play. Come on, Max, let's go.
Slider gets a swing and miss. By the way, they changed the scoring on Riley's second hit last night. Remember, he hit down the left field line, and McNeil threw the ball to third, and Riley, after a hesitation around first, went to second. They originally scored it a double. They've changed it to single, second on the throw, which I think was proper.
good pitch right there. Hard slider away, swinging from his penny.
Lonely, thank you. All right. You know, there's some normal Braves fans out there, right? You can root for your team and say the Mets suck, but rooting for a player to get hurt that somebody deserved it. I'm sorry, nobody deserves to get a broken bone. Sorry. It's just not. Come on. I don't wish that on the player that I hate the most.
He took my thunder away. Canada at first, Neal at second, Lindor, Beatty, Alvarez behind the plate.
I mean, you have a guy on your team who's the biggest showboater probably in baseball in Acuna. Do I want to hit him in the head? No. Come on.
Starting outfield, that's not how they
You hit a ball 400 feet, you can do a flip around the bases. I can care less.
It's the up-to-date outfield.
All right, Max, come on.
We're always on the radio.
Well, that's why I blocked Isaiah. And, you know, Isaiah's usually a good guy in the chat. I know he's a Brave fan. And, you know, I let anybody come on this channel. I don't care if you're not a Mets fan. But talking nonsense like that, you don't deserve to be on this channel. Sorry. There's another channel that you can find that you can talk that nonsense.
There goes the curveball and misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So right early in the season,
MT, I appreciate it.
He really was in pull mode. He felt like he was pulling everything. The last week or so, he started to hit the ball to right center field, where he has tremendous power.
Come on, Max, let's go.
Base it to right field in his first at bat last night.
Goodbye.
He's in there for a call, strike 3.
Nice pitch. 2 outs. And you know what? It gets to the point where I don't even want to beat the Braves because of the players anymore on the Braves. It's because of the fans.
I think it just rolled completely.
We were talking about this last night. It's hard to tell sometimes, but it just seems as though more pitchers are throwing high sliders by design than ever did.
Well, it's obviously going to help the Braves that Pete Alonso's not in the lineup. Like, you'll always take that advantage, right? It was nice not to see Soroka after he ruptured his Achilles, but that doesn't mean I don't want the guy. I want the guy to freaking get hurt and miss almost 2 years. It's crazy. That's not a baseball fan. I'm sorry. The idiots that shit, and it wasn't all of them. Let me make that clear. It wasn't all of the fans, but there was a good number of fans cheering when he was coming out of the game. Like, I can assure you, when Georgia football starts, they won't be caring about the Braves.
Lopez in 1998 had 40 RBIs through 60 games. That goes back to 1920 when the RBI first became an official statistic. That's how great a start Murphy's off to. He pulls that one just foul. I mean, he only drove in 66 runs all year last year in a good season for Oakland.
Home slice. What's up, buddy? Grant, I think that's what it was, because it looked like Pete was mad that he was coming out of the game. I think Buck didn't want to take no chances. Take the x-ray, take the MRI, make sure it might be just a bone contusion, bone bruise. Let's hope.
You and I went out there, I'll tell you that. They were great when I was in high school.
Come on, Max, let's go. Goodbye. You don't think Max is pumped up? So Max gets out of it. No runs. 1-0 Mets going to the top of the second. Well, you know what? Everybody's going to get their wish, right? If Pete Alonso has to stay out a couple of games, Vientos is going to play first base. So everybody got their wish now. Home slice. Again, it wasn't all of them. So I want to make that clear before everybody thinks that every Brave fan is a moron. That's not true, right? Just like every Philly fan is not a moron. Majority, but not all of them, right? That's what I was trying to get at. Like, listen, criticize. You can say the Mets suck, 86, LOL Mets. Or you could say all that. That's trash talk. That's fun, right? I bring that on the channel. Bring it, please. I love the competitive back and forths. That's fun, right? But saying that Pete Alonso deserved it for trash talking when the Braves trash talked, and oh, by the way, their own organist and that's the same team last year that played narco every time the Mets lost the game that was not playing the Atlanta Braves, right? Same thing, right? And that's the organization allowing that, right? You own us. We all know that. There's no need to tell us. We all know that as Mets fans. But for a team that's won 17 division titles since 95, shouldn't you be a little bit more above, considering that, we are the little brothers, as Brave fans call it, in the division? So shouldn't you be on the high horse there and saying, we own this division. We don't need to do this, but they do that. So there you go. Sorry. maybe that hit by pitch on Pete Alonso works up the entire Mets, just like everybody thought Pete Alonso's, throw that again, picked up the Braves yesterday. We'll see. Who knows? All right, here we go. Top of the second, 1-0 Mets. Vogel back up. Everybody's favorite Met.
Recent return is not nearly as good. Curveball outside, 1-1. Vogel back 0 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts, 3 for his last 36.
Maybe changing the game plan, swinging first pitch there, unusual.
Well, I know the coaching staff has been trying to encourage him to swing the bat a little more.
And get on top of the plate.
And I want to be consistent. Jason's comment. Now we got to hit somebody else. No. All right. See, I'm consistent with Met fans and everybody else with this. All right, guys. There's no need to hit Murphy or Acuna. Morton wasn't trying to hit Pete Alonso. It was just in a bad spot. He tried to jam him, and it came up and in. It's baseball. It happens.
2-2 for Morton.
And Vogelback strikes out. Well, he's swinging the bat now. Can't be mad at that.
Well, you want a graphic representation of Charlie Morton's curveball strikeouts?
But it wasn't. It wasn't. It's trash talking, LRF. It's trash talking. The same way when Acuna trash talks and acts like a fool coming around third base every time he hits a home run. It's the same thing. There's nothing wrong with that. That was trash talking. And the Braves trash talked right back. Why do we have to go to the bench and then come onto the field? Baseball's not, it's not like that. Trash talk has been around sports forever. Look, the best revenge is winning the ball game.
Because Uncle Charlie has sent many of major league.
Kind of ground ball right to Riley. Nice scoop. 2 outs. Well, again, that's, again, I already brought it up, right? It probably wasn't all of them, clearly, because it would have been much louder. But, those aren't real fans. I'm sorry. They're in that area and just going to the game. Like, they're not real Brave fans. They've been Brave fans since 2021. Andre, I don't even know anymore. The leash should have been cut and let him run away. But what are you going to do? All right.
I looked in the Eliasphere. I was like 175 against them. Don't forget.
Lendog, you can't do that. And I explained it many times. If you're only carrying 2 catchers, you DH one catcher and the other one catches. If your catcher gets hurt, you have no catchers. That means your DH catcher has to get behind the plate and you lose the DH. So if that catcher gets hurt in the second inning, you lose the DH for the rest of your game and your pitcher's got it back. Nobody does that.
Sharp slider in 93 that DeGrom throws out of the zone. Slider.
Yeah, trash talking is great. I don't care what sport it is. There's nothing wrong with that. For everybody who's saying, oh, Pete Alonso's not a leader, oh, goodbye. Yeah, baby. That's Francisco Alvarez, baby. 2-0 Mets. There we go. There we go. Well, second game in a row, the Mets took a lead. And they're scoring early. Holy crap. All right, Francisco. Slowly going around the bases. I like that. Good job.
That is his ninth. This is a fastball upstairs. They want it up.
It's a good pitch. That's Alvarez's wheelhouse right there. 96 miles an hour. He turned on that bad boy.
He's powerful. I would have to say before the game started, they identified that would be an area of weakness.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Created a home run. Can't be happy about that. Francisco Alvarez just the opposite.
By the way, 43 pitches so far for Morton in 2 innings.
Alvarez, it's 2-0 New York.
Well, they've been pitching Francisco upstairs, and he's been chasing that ball out of the strike zone. Above the letters. This is below the letters, and he's quick. And 9 home runs.
Only 2 rookie catchers for the Mets have ever hit more home runs in a season. Travis d'Arnaud, who's sitting in the first base dugout, at 13 as a rookie. Jason Phillips at 11, and Alvarez has 9 on the 7th of June. I think he's got a pretty good shot. There's Travis not on the lineup either of the first 2 games of this series. And able to touch curveball for a strike 2-2.
Well, he's quick. He's got that little uppercut on that pitch of the upstairs. But he swung, it made him get the ball down in the strike zone.
421 feet. It's a long home run for a ball hit down the line.
And Nimmo strikes out, but not before the Mets get another run on the board with a Francisco Alvarez solo home run. 2-0 Mets going to the bottom of the second. Sorry, guys, the group chat's going crazy. Sorry. Rob promised the wife that if Braves sweep, Mets will be done the rest of the year. Last night game was big time letdown. It was. And Gary, that's honestly, I love you, buddy, but that's a loser's mentality. We need to take 1 out of the 3. No, you got your 2 aces pitching today and tomorrow. Take 2 out of 3. All right. The Mets, so far in Strider's career, had his number. Again, that always can change, right? He's got electric stuff, but he struggles against the Mets. That's a fact. Look at the stats, right? Brave fans won't tell you that, but it's a fact. It's got electric stuff, but he also gets frustrated on the mound. You foul off pitches, you work the counts, you get deep into counts, he gets frustrated. Strikes out a ton. That's one thing he's good at, but in Major League Baseball, everybody strikes out. So strikeouts are like wins now for pitchers. Like, it's irrelevant because every batter at least has 150 strikeouts when they play every day. Like, it just seems that way. So strikeouts is not as big as they used to be in baseball when guys used to strike out 50 times in a year. When you had 200 strikeouts and you were playing in the 90s or early 2000s, that was nice. That was sexy. Phil, listen, I know people don't like him batting ninth, but it does help out the bottom of the order. Like, who would have been batting ninth? Probably freaking like Cano or Vogelback or something like that. Some stupid nonsense. It gives a little bit of danger to the bottom of the lineup. I don't, like I said, I'm okay. I'm not going to kill it. It's worked. He's been productive, really productive there. All right, bottom of the second, 2-0 Mets. I think. Well, if depending on if Alonso's going to be out a couple of games, I played Vientos at first. Let Cannon play left field.
You know what's amazing about Arise? He has, I believe I read today, the 3rd lowest average exit velocity of any hitter in the major leagues. But he hits line drives, and his hit distribution fills the entire field. Yeah. Line to line, infield to outfield.
And that's a strikeout.
And Rosario.
And that's 1 out.
Alvarez makes the toss.
So far, so good for Scherzer.
So I just said that Luis Arias has the 3rd lowest exit velocity, and Keith's physical reaction to that was.
I'll tell you guys, it's the funniest thing when Luis Arias is batting 400, and people were saying he has the 3rd lowest exit velocity. Like, that really makes a difference. The guy puts the bat on the ball. It's a beautiful approach at the plate.
This is like 495. Shots 495.
Stezo Morton hit him in the wrist. Didn't look good. Put it that way. And that's a pop-up to Nimmo. Should be 2 outs. Can of corn for Nimmo. Again, Stezo, let me just make it clear. It wasn't Morton throwing at him. It wasn't because of yesterday. Morton, if you looked at his reaction right away when he hit it, you could tell that he was mad at himself. But yeah. But I think it was a quick trigger by Buck telling him just to get the x-ray. I looked like Pete wanted to stay in the game, but I think Buck didn't want to take any chances. Ground ball should end the inning. And it does. So another 1-2-3 inning for Scherzer, and the Mets are coming back up at the plate in the third, 2-0 Mets. Beatty with a broken bat single, RBI single, and Alvarez last inning with a solo shot down the left field line. What does it mean in a can of corn? Basically, it's an easy pop fly. Like, not 10 out of 10 a fielder, a professional ball player should catch that ball. Why they call it a can of corn, I don't know. Newman, I appreciate that. But like there's certain guys, JL, I know Newman's here around town. There's a couple of other guys. If I missed your name, I apologize. Even Isaiah. That's why I'm shocked about Isaiah. He comes on the channel all the time. I know he's a Braves fan. And if you know anything about my channel, I let everybody come on the channel. I don't block fans of other teams. I love the back and forth. I think it makes the channel great, right? Everybody is biased towards their team. Everybody is a homer every now and then, but you have to be fair at times too, right? So, it's like I just don't get it. Like how did Pete Alonso deserve to get hit by a pitch when he's doing trash talking, which the Braves are known to do? Strider and Acuna is the biggest trash talkers in baseball, probably. But I don't care about that. Do it. If you back it up, who cares? Pete Alonso was trash talking after that home run to make it 4-1. He backed it up at that point. They weren't down 10-0 and he was trash talking. That's stupid. Well, I mean, yeah, but again, if you put Vientos in, I don't think Vientos is a very good fielder at all. So you really are hurting the defense, and kind of shows he can play basically anywhere except for shortstop. He can do it. Exactly. And you saw Morton's reaction. He didn't want to hit Pete. All right, McNeil is up. 2-0 Mets, top three.
It's actually a very nice ballpark, and I never was fond of Fulton County, of course, other than the
Mr. G, that's a true story. Honestly, that's awesome. I'll tell you, I didn't even know the real story behind it. If that's true, that's freaking awesome, to be honest with you. Joe, I agree. 100%.
Jeff McNeil reached out fielder's choice and scored a run of the first.
All right. Again, the Mets are making more work here.
The Marlins just keep on rolling. They're trying for their sixth straight tonight. They're up 3-1 on Kansas City in the eighth. Edward Cabrera pitched tonight.
Kansas City tried a nightmare.
That was
They're being left out of the discussion.
give me call for the umpire.
18 and 43 coming into the
Okay. I wasn't around during Bob Murphy. I apologize, but that's a cool story, actually. Ball four. All right. Lead off walk. There we go.
For a second walk given up by Morton, and we check in with Steve Gill. Steve.
Well, guys, you were talking about Charlie Morton and how he's had an interesting career. The second half of his career so much better.
Newman, I would think so. I would think so. They got to be aggressive like the Braves were last year with Iglesias. Because not a lot of people knew Iglesias was available. And the story was, and I think you probably noticed as a Braves fan, the Braves actively pursued Iglesias. It's not like the Angels were looking to trade him. And the Braves sought him out and took that salary on, which was a great job by the Braves front office. Mike, maybe. Maybe.
That you never were before as an older pitcher in this day and age.
With Mauricio, if Pete goes on the IL again, that's further thinking, depending on what the imaging says. But I guess, but that's just another infielder that's a logjam in the infield. We don't have a lot of outfielders. That's the problem.
Has changed a bit, and it's fun to watch.
It's a double play. The turn by Arcia.
Safe. Ooh. All right, that's a 4-6-3 double play there. All right, so they're not challenging. It was a double play. Yep. Beat him by a step.
spikes didn't quite get to the bag. Oh, or it nestled into Matt Olson's glove.
I bet you if it was a home run, it would have been Columbia Blue.
You know, you're probably right.
He is, Andre, but I think there was a report that he's coming back on the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I believe somebody put that out on Twitter. Tommy Pham swinging at everything here. Well, that kind of hurts the middle of the lineup. Pham's cleanup now. But, I mean,
Charlie Morton began his career as a Brave, got traded to Pittsburgh, where he made his living as the pitcher known as Ground Chuck. Then he went to Houston and Tampa Bay and turned his career in a completely different direction and has been an elite pitcher ever since.
You guys remember when he was
yeah,
in Pittsburgh,
exactly.
He incorporated almost to a T the Roy Halladay.
And Iglesias was a money grab by the Angels. They wanted to get rid of that contract, and they weren't trying to trade him. That's what was so amazing about the Braves pursuing Iglesias. They actively looked at a pitcher and says, I think we can get him, even though he wasn't really on the trade block. And that's why the Braves front office is probably one of the best in baseball. Not just because of the prospects they continue to bring up and develop.
I mean, at the 2-home run game against the Blue Jays on Sunday.
Come on, Tommy.
His last start.
Ooh, nice pitch. That was a backdoor slider there, and that ends the inning. Mets do not get on another run on the board. Max Scherzer coming back on the mound in the bottom of the third, 2-0 Mets. So yeah, exactly. And you know what was funny? That it was a good thing you brought up, Newman, about the Mets pursuing bullpen, which is probably one of the biggest things I would do. Yeah, they could use a bat, but I think this lineup's going to be fine at some point once people get into a rhythm. And I think the pitching staff is going to be at least the rotation is going to be fine. I think getting bullpen arms and even Cespedes wasn't the only thing the Mets got. The Mets got a few bullpen arms that made a lot of difference down the stretch in the season and into the playoffs. It's a big deal. Yeah, Mike, but it's not just power hitters, though. It's not just that. Like, power hitters, you don't develop power hitters, right? Nobody does that, right? It's a philosophy of developing a player to whatever the philosophy is in an organization. They don't sway from it and make that one player that type of thing. It's like, you got to follow this type of way. Our philosophy works. If you follow this, you will be successful, right? Riley, when he first came up, was terrible. The Braves stuck with him, worked with him, and he's not a huge power hitter, but he hits to all fields, and a lot of the Braves players hits to all fields. They got a lot of power, yes. But they don't sit there and say, all right, power hitter, power hitter, power hitter. Newman, I agree with that 100%. And again, it's not always what is available. Sometimes you have to get that person. Just because a team might not be trading somebody, what if you're the only team that walks up to them and says, you know what, we'll take that salary like the Braves did with Iglesias, and we'll give you, I think they gave him a lower level prospect and took on the money, and the Angels took it because the Braves were aggressive doing that. All right, bottom of the third, 2-0 Mets.
Garcia has been under the radar screen here. He's done a good job for them at shortstop, hitting over 300, driven a big run last night.
He missed a chunk of time early in the season with a
Tucker Davis. And I don't know where he was on the prospect list.
2.5, 3 weeks.
But it was somebody they were willing to give and take up the money of Iglesias.
To take his spot, but Garcia claimed it right back.
Garcia missed 21 games since
nice pitch.
Coming off that IL, though, he's batted 3.
Well, Newman, exactly. So it was a low risk for the Braves, high reward, and now he's your closer.
David Grissom and Brendan Shoemaker, both of whom Grissom and Shoemaker will probably be back at some point.
Brian Snicker was telling me yesterday, I asked him about RC. He said he handled it like a
easy. No. Let Chapman go back to the Bronx. I don't want that fool in New York. He is a disaster waiting to happen in New York. It's very easy to pitch in Kansas City with no pressure. Mothman, I tell you. Earlier today, I had to go to my car to grab something. I left my charger in there. Holy Christ. I felt like my throat was burning. It's that bad out there, guys. So be careful when you're out there.
3-2 from Scherzer.
Yeah, nice pitch. Good changeup. 1 out. 5 strikeouts in the first 7 outs. Nice. I would tell people to put the mask on, especially if you're going to be outside for a decent amount of time, because it's not. I think it's the air quality level or whatever the hell it is above 400, and the normal is under 100. That's fucking dangerous.
I'm going to call it. Here's Michael Harris. And he takes a fastball inside.
Where's that high strike zone? Let's go.
Right now. 0 for 4 last night in 31 games since he came off the
irresistible, whatever you got to do, because that stuff can really cause some damage. I mean, they said it was better. It's worse air quality in New York than after the World Trade Centers in 9/11 happened. It was worse than that. The air quality in the city. It's crazy.
Rookie of the Year honors. And I know you say all the time, Keith, you believe in the sophomore jinx. Is it more sophomore jinx, or is it?
Yeah, and be careful with your animals too, because you know how much they like to sniff stuff, and they got very sensitive noses. They can get hurt too. Watch that bunt. Good bunt. Let it go foul. Alvarez should have wait for that to go foul. It might have went foul. Damn. That was a rookie mistake there, being very aggressive, trying to make a play. I don't kill that, but that ball almost would have looked like it could have rolled foul.
Okay, I haven't got a chance. Even if I bet the ball up like that and throw a strike, I'm not going to throw him out. So eat it. You got another runner as well. It can fly.
You know, that's a bad play, especially with Acuna coming up.
So it's an infield hit for Harris, and then an error on Alvarez, allowing him to advance. First runner in scoring position for the Braves tonight, Ronald Acuna, the batter. Acuna struck out his first time, and Scherzer tries to tease him with a slider away, ball 1.
You know, if it hits that lip of the grass, it usually kicks it foul.
Yeah, it was going foul too.
As a pitcher, you could sometimes get over there and yell, "Let it go, let it go, let it go."
Yeah, Newman, he has. But you know what? That's a smart baseball player right there to get that bunt down. The third baseman was playing back with that speed. Smart play.
Throw him a fastball, but this second time around, they're running scoring position. Let him off with a slider.
Ooh. That was a hanger that Acuna missed there. That was the first bad pitch from Scherzer there, but he got away with it. Yeah, Andre, it was going foul, but you know what? You don't want to take that aggressiveness away, because that's what makes him really go behind the plate.
Even if it's off the plate, it sets up a
Oh, Newman blackouts. God, MLB with this.
1 for 5 in this series. Scherzer steps off.
Max is not happy. Max wants to get the ball and throw. He does not like to be interrupted.
One, 2 to Acuna.
Got him. Nice pitch, slider. Curveball, baby. That's a nasty curveball right there. 6 strikeouts in just the third inning. Very nice. Oh, man, look at that pitch. Started at the belt and dropped down to the dirt. Nice pitch. Got him way out in front there. 2 outs.
You know he's on top of this game. 3,247 career strikeouts. 12th on the all-time.
Newman, that's insane. I hate when they do that, when they decide stuff like that. There should be no blackouts, man. It sucks. Especially around the country where there's fans everywhere.
Matt Olson had an infield hit his first time up. Harris dancing off second. Olson yanks that cutter.
Well, Knicks Nation, listen, buddy. You know, people went crazy that Max was done. his velocity dropped a miles per hour or two, but Scherzer is a pitcher. He knows how to mix stuff up. 93, 94 is more than enough miles per hour to still be a good pitcher. So I really wasn't too concerned about Scherzer, to be honest with you.
Of course, there's nobody Wilhelm on that list. Wait, pitched 13 seasons after he turned 35.
The old knuckleballer.
He was a reliever most of his
Cross base, I still think the Phillies are
but he started
very
in
much
those
ahead of
games
that,
he pitched in
of the
November
Braves.
against the Yankees while pitching for the Orioles. Swing and
Ooh.
miss. Good fastball.
Look at that. Only 94 miles an hour, but blew it past Olsen there. That's all you don't need to throw 96 in this game, especially with all these long angle swings. You get that 94, 93, 94 miles an hour fastball around the letters. A lot of hitters can't catch up to that because they're launch angle swings. And he's probably going there again. Oh, look at that curveball. And he strikes him out. 7 strikeouts for Max Scherzer. Or was it 8? 7, 8, a lot in 3 innings. So, again, Scherzer was always a pitcher. Like, you worry about pitchers that rely on that fastball because they can't throw anything else and they don't know how to pitch. Scherzer knows how to pitch. And it's not like his breaking ball. And, they did his, the analytical crap that's saying, his, the spin rate is not a lot different from any of his breaking balls or off-speed pitches. His fastball's down a tick or two. But when he needs it, he rears back and he'll throw a rare 96 when he needs it. And that's why I wasn't worried about Max Scherzer because it wasn't. And you got to remember, guys, he got that, little bit of a setback when he had to take a few days off and then come back. So he didn't have a routine and then he got suspended. There wasn't a routine. And we know Scherzer always talks about his routine. And again, I always said this and I said it. I worried about Verlander a little bit more than I worried about Scherzer. Even though I think Verlander is going to be pretty good. I don't think he's going to be Cy Young. I think a lot of people have that thought process. I think, look, if Scherzer gives us an under 3 ERA and pitches well and gives us 6, occasionally 7 innings, I take that every day of the week because there's always something to say when your pitcher goes deep into a game. 6, 7 innings, there's a pretty good chance that he's pitching well. You know what I mean? Look at the Charlie Morton and Bryce Elder the last 2 days. Elder doesn't throw harder than 89, occasionally 90. He looked very good yesterday against the Mets, throwing a lot of crazy breaking balls and change up and all that crazy stuff, right? Same thing with Morton. Morton still throws 95, 96, but he relies on his breaking stuff a lot more. Scherzer realizes that he needs his breaking ball and off-speed pitches a lot more to keep the batters off balance. And Beatty's coming up. 2-0 Mets at top of the 4th.
And it goes after the first pitch curveball for Morton and fouls it off.
Yeah, certainly was different when Keith and I played here. In that
Mike, I guess so.
Companies down here,
Sometimes these pitchers are in their own heads.
that lived in
Sometimes.
this area that it would be packed with Mets fans.
Well, I remember going to a series at Fulton County Stadium. I think it was 1981.
Okay.
And there were about 5,000 people in the ballpark. And I walked up to the ticket window before the game and got a seat 3 rows behind home plate for like $5.
How did you deal with that, sitting so close?
It was so weird, and there were so few people in the ballpark. I felt as though I had the whole game to myself. It was Mookie and Hubie. And there wasn't really a whole lot else going on.
Ron Gardenhire at shortstop?
Maybe I've been before him. Yeah.
Well, those were the days. Bruce Beauclair,
Still a young blood.
Mazzo.
Come on, Brett.
2-2 coming to Beatty.
There you go. Good eye.
So the Luisa Rise Watch, 2 for 4 tonight, 403.
Wow. Great for him. Great for the fans of the Marlins.
3-2 coming. And that's it.
Whoa.
Call strike 3 go.
Ooh.
Inside. Wow.
Ooh.
Low.
Just low. That was a nice pitch, too.
John Lipko.
That froze Beatty there. I thought Beatty even thought that was strike 3. All right, so leadoff walk for Beatty. Beatty, last couple of games, putting better at bats together. Nice to see.
All-star appearances. And that big year he had in 2019.
Come on, Starling, let's go.
Here's Marte
Ooh.
bluffing at a bunt.
Bluffing a bunt there, all right.
Marte struck out on a curveball his first time up. Just one more note on a rise on the current Marlins homestand. He's 19 for 35. That's 543.
That's raging hot.
Sorry, guys, because of the smoke.
I mean,
It's still, even with all the windows closed, it still trickles in. So they tell you to put the AC on, so it actually filters out the smoke air. So that's something, if you didn't know, you could do that. Even with the windows closed, the smoke gets in. It started to get a little. I could tell because my eyes started to burn a little bit. A little dangerous there. So make sure you put on your AC if you're in the Northeast, wherever you are. That have that. Crossface, I said that for years. That was the big deal that was talked about a lot with Jacob deGrom. That you don't think Jacob deGrom could be as effective throwing 96, 97? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Right to Harris. Damn. I was roped right to him. Well, tip your cap on that one. Can't do nothing about that. Hit it in the wrong spot.
Some of the best hitters have ever been. But there's never been.
Christopher, you know what? The infield was playing back, so if he dropped it in the right place, it probably could have been an infield hit. And you're probably not going to double up Marte with his speed. And here he is, guys. Everybody's favorite Met, Daniel Vogelbach.
And it was a controversial finish.
Ellie De La Cruz, man, it's going to be good.
There have been some stats revised from those days, over the last 50 years. 1-1 to Vogelbach. It looks like the Marlins are on the verge of their 6th straight win.
LeMahieu won with the American League Yankees on the.
Mike, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Show some damn life.
One Colorado.
Mets can beat the Braves today. Marlins hold on. They'll be 2 out.
Vogie hits a home run here. He's going to play the next 6 days in a row. Really piss everybody off.
Those are LeMahieu's
Short season. That's a
Good eye.
Would the pitcher say the same thing?
The only reason I would say this, it's 60 games, and it's yes, and he won it in Coors Field. That's one of the 30 fields. Not his fault.
2-1 to Vogelbach, who struck out his first time, and he pulls that one just foul.
Chris,
Well, we have seen Trey Turner.
I do think
He's been struggling.
Buck
the opposite.
is. I think it's a little nod to Epler. Like, oh, you got him. You wanted them. Now I'm playing them. I don't think Buck is that stupid, to be honest with you. Ball 3. Crossface, I think it's going to take a year or two, but the Reds need to get their pitching going. They got a lot of young pitchers there that haven't been living up to the hype yet. If they start pitching, they could be the next Orioles for sure. Come on, Bogey. Ball 4. Good at bat. Get a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs.
So the Mets have 2 men on for Marcano. So that's 4 walks for Morton. We talked about how he's been walking more this year. 4 walks and 3 in the third.
I just think that Morton feels he has to be more fine.
Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Mets, Braves, right here on the channel. Don't forget to please hit on that like button. Consistently having over 100 viewers. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me during Game 2 of the series. So make sure you please hit on that like button. Let's get more people in this stream and hang out and watch some baseball. Mets are leading 2-0 in the top of the 4th. Little bit of a threat here. 1 out, first and second. Marcano at the plate.
Not a lot of pitchers pitch on a regular rest these days. Canada, he takes outside ball 1.
Kind of a de facto 6-man rotation without 6 men. They're giving everyone an extra day when they can.
Oh, Mark.
Braves just made a change in their rotation. Mike Soroka, who battled so hard to get back from 3 years on the sideline, set back down after 2 rough starts. And A.J. Smith-Shawver, who made his debut over the weekend in relief, is going to start next time around. That'll be Friday or Saturday against Washington. 20 years old. 20. Canada takes a rip at a fastball. It's 2-1.
I don't mind that swing from Canna. 2-0. Knew he was getting a fastball. Just placed in the right spot by Morton. Right on the outside corner.
Right last year. Led the majors and victories.
Young pitchers, young players as well. He went 2 to 3rd in Arizona. Only give up a walk.
That's it out to center field.
Right at him.
Merely has to move. Now that's the second out. So Canna flies out 2 out of 2 on, and then I'll bring up Alvarez.
All right. Alvarez coming up with 2 outs. A couple of men on now.
Let's see how Charlie pitches.
I wonder if they're going to be very are they going to, pitch to him but be careful since Nimmo is struggling?
Let's see what each
Might try to pitch around Alvarez here. Not give him anything to hit. I think Morton would rather face Nimmo in this spot than Alvarez. But we'll see.
80 second, Vogel back at first with 2 down. Alvarez's home run was his 9th of the year. And he gets the first pitch curveball inside for ball 1. Alvarez snapped an 0 for 15 stretch with that home run. 9 home runs and 119 at bats. Take that ratio from any player, much less a 21-year-old catcher. And another curveball that bends in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Also has 3 home runs in those 9.
Are you setting the stage?
I'm giving you a bounce back here.
It's a layup. With a way that's 2-1.
We hope it and pulling our own.
All right, Francisco, let's go. Take a hit down the line.
We just adorn the stage. The actors on the field have to deliver the lines.
That's right.
We're like set designers. It's
Ooh.
foul at the plate.
Oof.
Change up for Morton. It's 2-2.
Where are we at the Globe Theater?
Pretty good pitch, low in the zone.
It's in the round.
Bermuda, love it.
Chance.
Appreciate that, Darryl.
That's about sleep.
The Mets did pretty well today so far.
Ultimate sleep.
Working that count on Morton.
Drop that line.
Well,
Morton has given the Mets problems.
More into the deluge.
To hit a
It's nice to see them doing pretty well against them.
2-2 coming to Alvarez. The curveball hit toward the hole.
Oh, that's going to be a tough play. Oh, nice play. Nice play by RC to end the inning. Mets do not score. Still 2-0. Mets going to the bottom of the 4th. Yeah, Andre, that's something that he's got to learn to do because I love the power, but eventually the pitchers are going to adjust to what he does. And he's going to get a lot of balls on the outside corner, a lot of fastballs on the outside corner, a lot of breaking balls on the outside corner. And he's got to learn to hit that ball the other way because they're going to adjust him at some point. You know, he has 119 at bats. You know, you've seen rookies all the time. A lot of them look really well, and then Michael Harris is a perfect example. You couldn't get the guy out last year. This year, struggling. I think he's batting under 200. Right? When the league adjusts to you, the way you stay in the big leagues is to adjust to what the pitchers adjusted to you. And if you don't make that adjustment, you're probably not going to be a major leaguer for very long. And not saying that Alvarez won't be, but he's got to learn to hit the ball the other way. That was a pitch right there where, probably could have hit that to the right side if he wanted to. He's a very aggressive pull hitter. We all know that. But you also got, Pete Alonso was when he first came up as well. So, power hitters usually favor pulling the ball a little bit more than usual, right? But, when you get a little bit older, you understand the game, you understand what they're trying to do. These pitchers are going to adjust to Alvarez throwing more balls on the outside corner because if they notice he's been pulling off the ball, pulling off of everything, you're going to roll over those pitches and hit ground balls a lot of the time. So, that's why he's really good on high fastballs, because he can catch up to them. But when your majority of your at-bats and you see it's pull heavy, well, they're going to adjust at some point. Yeah, well, I know that he has opposite field power to right field in the minors, right? But it's a whole big difference when you're up in the big leagues. Big difference. All right, so 2-0 Mets, bottom of the fourth. Riley is up. Scherzer still on the mound. Obviously.
This last start against the Phillies. Quite a start.
Oh, he went.
Ooh. Does not get a swing on the slider, and it's 1-1. Riley Murphy and Rosario for the Braves in the fourth. Still waiting a medical word on Pete Alonso, who left this game at the top of the first inning after being hit on the wrist by a Charlie Morton pitch. And that's lined down the right field line. Slicing.
Foul ball.
Just foul.
Well, I thought he hit it much harder than that. Must have got it on the inside of the bat, or maybe outside, top part of the bat.
Riley and Matt Olson, both tremendously powerful, both with a lot of strikeouts in this lineup.
Good block.
Olson struck out 80 times, more than anybody else in the league. Riley 67. That's in the top 6. So it is a lineup that can produce some strikeouts for Scherzer. He's got 7 tonight. That's lined into center field. The base hit for Riley.
Nice piece of hit in there. Scherzer missed his spot. Good piece of hit in there by Riley.
He's had that breaking ball working tonight, but like I said before the game, just the combination of being able to throw any pitch anytime. That was a 3-2 changeup for Arcia, and really has taken a little off that breaking ball that he struck out of Kumi and also with.
All right, the dangerous Murphy here.
First time up. Murphy in the first 4 games between the Mets and Braves this season, 5 for 13 with 8 RBIs. He had a pair of 3-run homers in a game in New York. He had a 2-run double last night.
Oh, Max.
He has very quickly become a thorn on the Mets side. Scherzer struck him out his first time up tonight.
Ooh, nice backdoor slider. That was a nice pitch.
Good double play candidate.
So has a tendency to lean into an inside pitch, so you have to be wary about that on 0-2.
Holds his hands fairly high.
Nice pitch.
So
Inside changeup. Nice pitch. Tied him up there. 1 out. Oof. Look at that movement of that changeup. Started in the middle of the zone and came inside. And Scherzer's not a huge changeup guy, but he knows he got to use all pitches right now.
So now it is Rosario who struck out his first time up.
Jake, yeah, you know I always appreciate it, buddy.
It's interesting.
Don't get in trouble.
As he was taking his set,
I think what happened is he forgot to call a pitch. He knew what he wants to throw, right? But he's got to make sure he tells Alvarez.
There'll be a point where the pitch comm will be so advanced that the pitcher will be able to use brainwaves to call the pitch, and the catcher will hear him in his earpiece without having to push a button.
Well, that's the microchip times. Yes. Have that implanted in spring training. I wonder how the voice sounds.
I think you have a variety of different voices and languages available. Kind of like your clock.
Oh, like Siri.
Rosario pops one up in the shallow center, and on comes Nemo.
There you go.
Did you hear the story about Joe Castiglione?
No.
was calling Tampa Bay Boston game, and he announced he was doing radio for the Red Sox. He's been doing it for 40-some years. And he announced Jose Siri, and his phone answered him.
He turned Siri on.
Turned Siri on by mentioning the name of the Tampa Bay center fielder.
Everyone's watching you. I'm telling you.
Mike, I honestly have not kept up with that, to be honest with you. But now that you said it, I'll definitely look it up, and maybe next time I come on, I'll bring it up. I'll see what I know. But I mean, you probably can Google it and find out something, but I haven't really looked into it. I know they were talking about it.
Even the covering 9%. What he's done now is that he's got himself in a place where he's got 5 pitches that are almost over 10% that he can throw at any time. We see some of the best pitchers in the game, whether it's Luis Castillo and others. That's where their strength comes, and that's what Max has turned into.
Listen to the little kids saying, "Let's go Mets."
Really used
I agree, Cesar.
tonight.
Love those kids. Nice pitch.
Ozzie Albies hit his 13th home run last night. He's homered each of the last 2 games.
A very unusual stance, open, and he really lifts that front leg.
And Max goes away with the fastball, 1-2. So Pete Alonso's back in the dugout. We've not gotten any better.
All right, Pete Alonso is in the dugout, and I think he looks good. There's no bandage or wrap, so I think he's okay.
I would think.
Pass the mat off the glove of Scherzer.
Oh, that sucks.
Scherzer was trying to feel that ball and get out of the way, but it deflected off his glove. And it's an infield hit for Albies.
That sucked right there.
Yes, yes.
Almost. He lets it go. It's an easy out. Yeah, it's a force at second for him.
So 4 hits against Scherzer, and
Ah.
3 of the 4 have been infield hits. And now the Braves are the tying runs on base with 2 out. And a big spot for Scherzer facing Marcell Ozuna.
This is the problem that this line presents. They have 6 players that have 10 or more home runs. They have thunder every time you look up.
Come on, Max, let's go.
Well, you've got a free swinger right here. Grounded out of the first pitch he saw from Scherzer his first time up. And a fastball on the outside corner, strike nothing at 1.
Good pitch. Here's last night. Big blow. Any slider from Drew Smith.
Will tie up the game in that big 6th inning for the Braves. Ozuna, whose season could not have gotten off to a worse start. At the end of April, he was hitting .085.
So Pete Alonso got a little bit of a bandage around his wrist, so he's back out there. If it was broken, they would have probably sent him to the hospital right away.
That's why Travis d'Arnaud sitting on the bench rather than DHing tonight because Ozuna's been so hot. Here's the 1-1. And that fastball, or excuse me, changeup just misses away. It's 2-1. Big pitch here. Driving the runner at second, always at first with 2 down. And Ozuna fouls it off on the changeup. 2-2.
Max faced 16 hitters in this Braves lineup tonight. 13 first pitch strikes. That was one of the rare times he was in a hitter's count.
Yeah, I know, committee, but it's reflexes. You know that. That's the problem. You know, what are you supposed to do there?
And it's in on the ground. Toward the hole. Lindor keeps it on the infield.
All right, that's a good play by Lindor, keeping the run from scoring there. Another infield single.
Just a terrific play by
That's exactly what you got to do there. No way you're going to get anybody out. Got to keep that ball in there.
Saves a run. The key to that is to take that angle that you can give yourself as much chance to cut that ball off. And Lindor took the perfect angle.
So now the bases are loaded with 2 down.
All right.
And Orlando Arcia
Tough spot here.
the fourth infield hit of the Braves' 5 hits in this game. And now Scherzer with a must-have against Arcia, who struck out his first time up. And he lines one foul off the right. Opposition hitters coming into the night. We're hitting 125 this year against Scherzer with runners in scoring position. Rolled over softly.
Wow.
There's a run comes from. Can you believe that?
5 infield hits out of 6.
Three in this inning.
Well, throwing good pitches.
It's now 2-1 New York. It's Randy.
Nothing that you can do there.
Big slider. And look at Max's reaction. He knows.
Nothing you can do.
Sometimes ball players at 35 years old just have the same reaction on the field that they would have when they're 10 years old.
Nothing you can do there. 5 infield hits out of 6. What is it? 3 in this inning? 4 in this inning?
So now Michael Harris, who has one of the 5 infield hits. This was a bunt single in the third.
Ah, Max.
Plan. The others were not. Bases
Yeah.
loaded, 2
You know
outs,
what?
clean to a 1.
Hit them where they ain't, right?
And Harris takes a slider for a strike.
You know?
Guys, really quickly, good news on Pete Alonso. X-rays were negative. He's got a contusion and is considered day-to-day.
All right, so it's a wrist contusion for Pete Alonso, so no broken bones.
Fastball fouled
Hey,
off and out to a 2.
any way to get runs, the way I see it.
Young
The Mets
Harris,
lived off of that last year.
32 with runners in scoring position this year.
Well, Ozuna is slow. Just that. I don't care. Vogelback, freaking Bartolo Colon would have beat that play out. Nothing you can do there. All right, there you go. All right, Max, good job. All right, so not really a lot of fault to Max there. What are you gonna do, right? But the Braves do get on the board with like 47 infield hits. But hey, there's no complaining from me because the Mets did a lot of that last year, if you guys remember. So it is what it is. It's not like Scherzer, was getting rocked out of the ballpark in that inning. So 2-1, Mets still got a lead going to the top of the 5th. Mets got a 1-run lead. Well, I'm going to say not looking good. I mean, the pitch count is fine. I'm not worried about the pitch count. Scherzer can pitch 100 pitches. I'm not worried about that. Unfortunately, the pitch count did go up because of those infield hits. But what are you going to do, right? Hey, listen, I don't mind scoring 6 runs on swinging bunts all day, every day. Let's be honest, guys. Sometimes it's, did you score runs instead of how did you score the runs, right? So, once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Mets-Braves Game 2. Obviously, the Braves took the first game of the series 6-4. And Mets looking to tie up the series and play a rubber game tomorrow, which is another 7:20 start. Newman, I do wonder that too, considering that, the Braves did get a run here. I wonder if they would go to their bullpen. Their bullpen has been a lot better over, I would say, the last 2 weeks maybe, when they were really struggling early on. I would be shocked if they bring them back out. But Snicker's a good manager, so I mean, can you blame him with any decision he makes? It might not work, but I have no problem having to make that decision. So I don't think they brought anybody else in. I think Morton's still out there. So I guess there's your answer, Newman. So 2-1 Mets, top of the 5th.
some hits against.
And Nimmo to lead it off. Yep, Morton is in there.
That's how against them in a couple of starts over his young career. He's got the soul patch to go with the mustache now.
Nimmo's just not seeing pitches very well. It's rough to see Nimmo like that.
Third time around against Charlie Morton. He's trying to get through 5 with a very high pitch count tonight. 88 pitches through 4.
Ian, I'm good, buddy.
Most he's thrown again this year is 106.
I tell you guys, I must have played about 50 games of handball yesterday, and my hands still. Woof. Come on, Brandon.
2 down to Nimmo. And he wraps that one around the plate. That's 2-2.
Just a bit outside.
Colin McHugh, former Met, warming up in the bullpen.
Morton's pitch count up over 90. And
Nimmo pulls it. Must be a tough play. Nice play. Good cover by Morton. Nice play by Olsen.
We've mentioned that a few times now since he's been in the National League. A guy who won a couple of Gold Gloves in the American League. He's not a pretty first baseman.
He's got good hands.
Pretty good, isn't he?
He's not agile and quick when he can get to. He's fine. And he's not a right-hander, so those. It's a position made for a lefty. Yeah, you don't have bias against the right-hander. I get it, but what's interesting there? Most guys do the backhand on that play.
Yeah,
he turned it over, and
it almost rolled up the glove.
He made it a tougher play, I guess is what I'm saying. He's also long-legged, too. Those long-legged guys, and it's hard to get down.
All right, so Murphy went out to the mound to talk to Morton. 1 out, top of the 5th, 2-1 Mets. McNeil coming up. Once again, if you missed it, Pete Alonso was hit by a pitch in the wrist. Only a wrist contusion, day-to-day, no bones broken. But that's a little bit of the situation that happened earlier on in the game. Yeah, man. Chavez is the ageless wonder, man. That guy is good, man. Freaking almost 40 years old. It's awesome. I love those type of pitches. Come on, Jeff. Let's go.
Everybody in that rotation is pitching well except for Sandy Alcantara.
All 3.
Well, his last start, this is kind of how it's gone for him. 6 almost perfect innings and a flat spot in one of the innings. He's had a lot of crooked number kind of starts.
Definitely great news.
Ken, let's give
if I'm Buck, I will not play Alonso tomorrow. I know he would want to play, but don't play him. Let that wrist heal. Give him a day, maybe 2. Jeff. 3-1 pitch. He's swinging at that shit.
Did you see what Ellie De La Cruz?
I swear to God, McNeil is pissing me off. That uppercut swing that he was so much doing in 2021. Really annoying. All right, Lindor's up 2 outs.
I mean, this kid, he's got every tool.
Yes, he does. No, the match got to hit. That's all. So if he can hit, he's going to be something special.
His first hit last night was 112 miles an hour.
And that was a double. So there's a double, home run, triple so far in 2 games. 2 walks in last night's game.
And there's been some conversation about whether he's going to play short, second, third.
No.
Playing in the third because Matt McClain has been so good. He had the game when he hit for the Reds against the Dodgers last night. I think he's at 340.
All right, Francisco, let's go.
Very interesting young team with more young talent to come.
There you go. Stay line. Fair ball. That's a ground rule double. 2-out double for Lindor. And unfortunately, it would have been Alonso coming up, but Tommy Pham is coming up in that spot. Finally, a level swing that I like to see. Nice and level there.
Turnover, like sinker
Nice and
in the
balanced.
strike zone.
Nice to see Lindor balance at the plate left-handed there.
Change up, I think.
Just stayed fair.
So the chop.
That ball stayed in play. That could have been possibly a triple. Unfortunately, Alonso's not up at this point. It's Tommy Pham. Come on, Tommy, get a base hit here. Let's go.
To call third strike in the third. And curveball in for a strike. Pham was not in the starting lineup, but came in to pitch run when Alonso was hit by a first inning pitch. And good news on Pete. Contusion, X-rays negative, day to day.
And they're going to give Tommy a guy that breaking balls. Tommy likes that fastball. He's a fastball hitter, likes the ball up. The two fastballs against the Blue Jays, one to right field, one to left field.
Those kids with those Let's Go Mets chair. I really do love it. Good eye, Tommy.
Back to that first inning where Hansen got plunked by a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
And back side of the wrist. It's on the Ulmer side.
And
Good eye, Tommy. There you go.
So now it's 3-1.
Good job. Don't swing at that crap.
Left-handed Beatty on deck. Fans hitting under 200 against right-handers. The majority with playing time was coming against lefties, but hanging in there against Morton. And ahead of the count now 3-1 with Lindor at second and 2 out. And Finn gets a curveball and flies it to deep left.
Get out.
Rosario, the warning.
Yeah. All right, Tommy. 2-run homer, baby. All right, Tommy. There you go. Yeah. Showing that Pete Alonso home power, baby. Let's go. Nobody's questioning that move from Buck now. Woo. That's that Pete Alonso power right there, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's how they get that couple of runs in the game. There we go. 4-1 Mets. Good job. That just took Charlie. Ooh, a hanging breaking ball. Tommy knew he had that ball. All right. There we go. So that took Charlie Morton out of the game. And the Mets are leading 4-1. And let's be honest, guys. Again, we've killed Tommy Pham this year. But you know what? He's had some games this year. And I give him credit for that. And, he's one of those guys that is, we all know he's an ass. He's not the nicest guy in the world, but that helps the war. I'll tell you right now, though, you know what? People wanted Tommy Pham gone as well. Tommy Pham's not a terrible player. I think he had, 18 home runs last year? I'd rather have Pham because I think he's a little bit more valuable. Provides a little bit more speed off the bench. Obviously, he got some power. And he can play all three outfield positions. That's something that you really see from bench players that, can play all three outfield positions, have a little power, got that speed. But good job by Tommy there. And it got us. Let's give a little shout out to Lindor, right? We killed Lindor. That was a big 2-out base hit there to get Tommy Pham up at the plate. We don't talk about the little things that led to that Tommy Pham home run. Because I can guarantee you nobody will talk about that tomorrow if the Mets win the ball game, right? You won't hear anybody talking about that 2-out hit that Lindor got in the 5th inning. Those things matter. Lindor, you be surprised. I got about 10 group chats going, along with people on Twitter that were talking about DFA and Vogelback and Pham, and some said Canna, some said it was ridiculous. Again, sometimes there's value in a bench player because that's what Pham is, to play all three outfield positions, have a little bit of power. He had 17, 18 home runs last year. That just doesn't go away. All right, 4-1 Mets. Tommy Pham, 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 5th. And he replaced Pete Alonso, pinch ran for him after Pete Alonso got hit in the pitch. Colin McHugh was in the game for the Braves. Brett Beatty is up. Stezzo, just like Met fans. Grant, isn't that lovely to see? Look at Tommy Pham giving some love to Pete Alonso there. You see?
Thanks for picking me up, Tommy.
You always want him on his team, but he can be very annoying if he's not on your team.
First 5 all came against lefties, but he got a curveball to hit.
Easy, that's what you need.
Park just like he would.
It's the ex-Astros
Brett
night.
Beatty drove the first man run with a broken
Come on, Brett.
single, walked in his second plate
Good job.
And he takes that slider down. It's 2-2.
Talking about the results and how's he feel and what happened, and probably talking about an injury he had early in his career.
Which he did. Ground ball, running out, Beatty, running out. All right. So the Mets get a couple of runs, get 2 runs back, leading 2-0, then 2-1, now 4-1 Mets going to the bottom of the 5th. So nice to see other guys picking up the slack. And let's not make no stick about it. Lindor has been the whipping boy for a while now. Again, still got to get that average up. Got to be better, absolutely. But the little things matter in baseball, guys. You know, when I was, again, Vogelback should be gone. But that walk in, I believe it was the Guardians series, when I forgot who hit the home runs, but Vogelback took 2 walks in 2 different games to get the next batter up. And both of the times we were 2 outs. And again, I'm not one of those people that want to give Vogelback credit, but he got those 2 walks with 2 outs in games. I believe it was against the Guardians, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. It was in one of those games. It was at home. Oh, Kendall, you're at the game. I love it. Quiet, right? It ain't quiet, baby. I want to hear you. I want to hear you on the TV, baby. I hear little kids in the background saying, "Let's go Mets." Kendall, stand out proud, buddy. Wear that orange and blue. I know you will. But yeah, listen, guys. Little things matter in baseball. It's not always about the big man that's making the big money, because, yes, there are going to be the first ones to blame, but that was a huge 2-out hit from Lindor right there. And again, I'm going to guarantee you guys listen to WFAN during the day, listen to it tonight into tomorrow. And again, this is a big inning for Scherzer here. Had a tough inning, not really his fault. A lot of infield grounders of singles. This is a big inning here. We need need to put up a 0 for Scherzer. Oh, Grant, I wish I could make it, buddy. Oh, God. You don't know how mad I am that I've been trying to, figure out how to get there. Ooh, nice pitch. Top of the order for the Braves. Acuna. Love it, Kendall. Love it. Kendall, front runners. That's all I got to say. And by the way, give a shout out to Kendall. He's at the bowl game right now in Atlanta, listening to the stream. If that's not supporting a channel, I don't know what is, right? I appreciate that, Kendall. Enjoy the game, buddy. Have a beer for me. Yeah, Lendo, you know what? It just takes a little bit of confidence from the left side from him. Yeah, I know, committee. I just had to put the AC on because it's trickling through the seams of a window, a door, and it started to burn my eyes. And I'm inside with all the windows closed. And, it's not hot. I don't want the AC on all this time because it's freezing, but it circulates the air, which helps. There you go, Kendall. Yeah, again, Lindor has a long way to go. But you also got to give credit where credit's due in big spots there. And that was a big 2-out hit. Howie Alonso upped out. It's a bruised bone contusion. No broken bones. So he's day-to-day. Good. That's good. Great news. Strike 3. Oh. Jeez. Come on, Blue. Give him that pitch. God damn it. He hasn't been calling that the whole night. I just wanted that pitch. You know what? Challenge Acuna here. You got a 3-run lead. A solo home run, you still got to lead. Challenge him. And Scherzer's going to challenge him. Yep. I knew he was going to challenge him. That's all you got to do. Challenge him. Let him beat you.
I was going to say that he has a slightly
Grant, well, you need an ice box in Houston. Here, it's decent. It's like 67, 68. Not bad. But, you got to put the AC on. And the weather, the EPA and all the people that, know their stuff in these states, the air pollution people and all that crap, they said to close your windows and put on the AC because it circulates and filters the air. So
20-foot infield hit, and then struck out his second time up.
like I'm actually freezing right now. It's not cold in my place at all. It's not hot in my place at all. But you can't stay in a room. You can't stay inside without the smoke finding its way in. Nice pitch by Scherzer. Yeah, great. It is.
And that's a pitch that gives Olsen trouble. He can't lay off that.
Yeah, Kendall. You know why? Because they're front runners. They always been like that. And for any Braves fan, there's a lot of diehards. There's a lot of diehards, and there's always diehards with any fan base. But they're a big front running town, right? We all know they're all Georgia football a hell of a lot more. We all know that. Yeah, Howie, but it feels a little bit different because Scherzer's on the mound. Fly ball. Somebody's got to get it. All right, Francisco, good job. Oh, they hit each other. Everybody okay?
Got him right in the shin.
All right, good job. No fear in Francisco there. Good job. 2 outs. Woof. That was in no man's land. Oh, shoulder to die. Ouch. That could have been a disaster. There you go, Prime. That's a hell of a play by Lindor. Because Pham wasn't getting to that ball. And you know what? No fear.
Head move to the right.
Ouch.
Could have caught him on the knee. That could have been terrible.
All right, 2 outs. Riley up. Always big to put up a 0 after your team gives you a couple of runs.
Alonso goes out of the game after being hit by a pitch, and Lindor involved in a collision, but he's able to pop right back up. Riley drills one down the left field line. He's got his second.
Keep it to a single. All right, nice play by Tommy there. Good hustle. Keeping him to a single there.
Outfield hits for the Braves in this game. They both are well struck.
Got a hanging slider here.
Good job by Tommy there. Keeping it to a single.
What a play by Pham. Not only to get there with the slide, but he popped right up and got the ball in. And when you're rounding first as a hitter and you see the ball on the way, it makes you stop in your tracks.
Sean Murphy, who has struck out in each of his first 2 at-bats.
Jeez, that low strike zone. Benedetto, how you doing?
Riley at first with 2 out. And Murphy sucks one deep to left.
That's gone. Nice. Left that right over the plate. 4-3. That's exactly where Scherzer didn't want to throw that ball. He knew it too. Kendall, I know you saw that before we did. That was that one mistake tonight from Scherzer. Yeah, he missed his spot. Missed it. Trying to throw that on the outside corner and left a hanger up there. 4-3. All right, Max, come on, bear down.
is right there. Just below
Batting
the
practice
wheels.
curveball right there.
Look at the full extension right into the wheelhouse, the hanger.
Rosario is 0 for 2, and he bounces one down to first, and Candace
Fair
got it.
ball, and that
That
ends the
retires
inning.
the side. Rosario
Not before Danny Murphy. Sorry, Sean Murphy. It's a 2-run homer to get that lead back to 1. Get that deficit down to 1. Mets lead 4-3, going to the top of the 6th. Scherzer knew he made a mistake there, trying to throw that curveball on the outside corner. Yeah, that's what's crazy about Murphy. Like, this is not what he's shown in Oakland. Not the power. Always a good average hitter, but not the power. But you know what? When you get put in a lineup like that, there's a lot of protection there. And we already know he's a very good defensive catcher. So, JL, nah, he don't look exhausted. He looks like that all the time. He's more mad at the fact that he left a hanger right in the middle of the plate. You saw Alvarez set it up on the outside corner, and he just missed his spot. And no, JL, I agree with that, but Murphy still wasn't the type of guy that was, hitting bombs all over the yard either. But again, it's not like Murphy was never a good player. I mean, that's just would be stupid of me to say that. Joe, if it betters the team, why not? Right? He was on the trade block last year. There was no reason, and teams didn't want him. I don't see why they would want him this year. Well, Grant, I brought that up when he threw that pitch. That low fastball, he's not calling, right? And that sucks. But he's been consistent with that, so I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill the ump on that. But Scherzer knew. As soon as he threw the ball, you see his head go up in the air. Like, he knew right away. Well, it comes back to being a ball game, right? Got to keep on scoring runs. What did the Mets did not do yesterday? You got to tack on runs. Oh, man. De La Cruz from the Reds hit that off of Scherzer. Syndergaard, too. Oof. All right, Marte up. 4-3 Mets, top 6.
Did you catch that, Pete? Yes, I did. Faster than a speeding bullet. Woo!
Mets with a 1-run lead, facing Colin McHugh as they battle the 6th. Starling Marte hit it hard his last time up.
Ground ball right to Ozzy Albies and 1 out.
For 7 in this series. Sean Murphy's home run was the 99th for the Braves this year. They've gotten
Well, I've said it again and again and again. They just showed us a stat here. 51.5% of the runs by the Braves this year is by the home run ball. The highest in baseball. You keep them in the ballpark, you got a good chance of winning. Yesterday was an anomaly, not hitting a lot of home runs. A couple of good, solid hits for the Braves yesterday, big spots.
As an Oakland Athletic last year, he's got 12 already in far less than half the season this year. One to Vogelbach, who has struck out and walked. So Colin McHugh's retired the first 2 he's faced, came on in relief from Charlie Morton with 2 out of the 5th.
And Vogelbach, of course, looks at a strike right down the middle. Twice in a row.
Vogelbach has struck out and walked tonight, 0 for 1. Hitless in his last 8 at-bats. And takes a slider that just missed. 2-2.
So as a hitter, you're looking for a ball in a certain space. It's really a small space for Vogelbach. If he's going to
Joe,
swing.
I don't know, man.
Are they asking him to open up that space and swing it more?
It's this one past the mound. Easy play for Arcia. And he throws out Vogelbach too well. So 2 batters, 2 soft ground ball outs for McHugh in the 6th.
I will find that the toughest part, Keith, sorry, is that when you're struggling, to only give yourself one chance to swing it is hard. I don't have an answer yet.
Well, Ron made a great point. When you give yourself one pitch to swing at, you're not going to find a lot of hidden pitches.
So 2 out and nobody out.
I agree, Mullen.
Who's grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. And he takes a fastball strike.
Christopher, I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. I wouldn't play him. Get that rest comfortable. I think Scherzer will go another inning. Honestly, I wouldn't trust anybody else in the bullpen right now in the 6th inning.
It was an 8 game, started 4 of them. Three more games the next year, and then the Mets traded him to Colorado in a deal for Eric Young Jr.
Wasn't his first start against Colorado for the Mets? He struck out 9, I believe.
Now 35 years old. That's hooked on the ground to short.
Ground ball should end the inning. And it is. So 1, 2, 3 after the Braves put 2 on the board to get it into 1 run deficit for the Braves. And you know what? Scherzer didn't put up zeros after the Mets put up 2 runs. And that's been the trend so far with the Mets, and especially in the series. But as Mullins said, I don't think 4-3 is going to win the ball game. The Mets got to score more runs here. You know, their home runs, their runs, except for one, is on home runs. You know, everybody wants these home runs. But you got to put the ball in play. You got to let the defense work. You got to be better than that. I think you have to go another inning with Max. Again, he threw 1 bad pitch. Look, the way Buck's been rolling with this bullpen, I'm sorry. I'm going with Scherzer. Let Scherzer win it with Scherzer, at least through the 6th inning. And I would do that, right? If Scherzer gives it up, you tip your cap to the Braves, right? I'd rather lose with Max on the mound than lose with Brigham or Leone. Or Drew Smith. All right, come on. Same thing like yesterday. Carrasco has been pitching well. Who would you rather? I mean, I don't say you would trust Carrasco more than any other guys, but Carrasco was pitching well up until that point. So, and you got to trust your ace. If you don't trust the ace of Steph, when are you ever going to trust anybody? Joe, I don't dislike Leone, but he hasn't been good as of late, so that scares me. I agree, Kendall. You know, you get through the 6th with your starter. Now you can work it depending on matchups with Raley and Ottavino and Robertson. You know, Buck is not going to be shy. Would you be shocked if the Mets have a lead going into the 8th, and he put Robinson in the 8th and maybe put Robinson in the 9th? He's done it already. You know, I haven't been to Truist Park yet. I heard it's a really nice ballpark, though. Howie, it depends on what you're getting back, to be honest with you. And Scherzer is out there, by the way. If Mauricio can get us something that we really, really need, I'll trade Mauricio, to be honest with you.
That's 4 runs, 4 hits. That's exactly what they had for the game last night. Braves 3 runs, 8 hits. That's a score 4 runs or fewer in 7 straight games. And each of their last 10 games have all been decided by 3 runs or fewer. So they've been playing close games every day. And it's been a struggle trying to get back to 500 tonight. Probably swings and misses at a high.
Yeah, Joe, I know. It's crazy. Yeah, Kendall, I heard it was.
Tampa Bay won their 5th in a row tonight. Randy Arozarena, a walk-off home run as the Rays beat the Twins 2-1. 45-19. This one looked like maybe they were coming back to the back a little bit. All going to go again. Nobody shows up for their games, and they win every home game.
They got to build them a new park.
2-2 coming. And Albies rips it.
Oh, nice play by Canna. 1 out. See, that's why you put Canna there. Canna's comfortable at first base. Yeah, you know, my dad said the same thing. It was funny. I talked to my dad today, and he was like, yeah, he goes, it looks like the apocalypse. All right, come on, Max.
On the other side of the bridge.
I wouldn't want it in St. Pete myself.
With Marcelo Zuna. You know what? People come from
Guys, I'll be right back.
miles away to see the Mets, to see the Yankees, to see the Cardinals, to see the Red Sox. I mean, these are regional teams that draw people from all sorts of places around.
Yeah.
Right? Right. So why can't people make the half-hour, 40-minute drive from Tampa to St. Pete?
They do when their team comes in town. Because in Florida, a lot of the fans are fans of other teams.
But you would think at this point in their existence, after all the success that they've had for the last decade or so, that they would have developed their own fan base. And if not, why not? Fastball away to Ozuna, 2-1.
Even when they started building that ballpark, that dome, downtown, just outside of downtown St. Pete, I go, what are they doing?
Well, don't you remember they first tried to draw the White Sox, they tried to draw the Giants, and last-minute deals kept those teams where they were. The new ballpark in Chicago, the new ballpark in San Francisco.
It does. Just walk outside and look outside and then play the Walking Dead music. It's perfect. All right, come on, Max. No walks here. Bottom of the order. Come on. Challenge him. There you go. Challenge him. He hits it over the wall, you tip your cap. Don't put nobody on base.
Franchise in 1998, and by that time, that building was already obsolete. Yeah, because so many other buildings had been built in the interim that were more up to date, starting with Camden Yards.
I never understood why they built that stadium in St. Petersburg.
All of the money, Keith.
Oh.
3-2 on the way to Ozuna. Fouled off. Why do you think there's only one golf tour now?
You know, I haven't been following that story.
Oh, you don't really want to. After because nobody really looks good.
After the game, I'll tell you about it. All right? It'll take about an hour. I just haven't had any interest. I know.
I mean, I don't have any interest in golf, but the
yeah, 2 outs. Good slider by Scherzer there. 10 strikeouts on the night.
The 111th time in his career he's struck out 10 or more. I mean, Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson left the field a long time ago, and now Max is alone in third place, breaking a tie with Roger Clemens.
Nobody's catching Nolan Ryan or Johnson.
The two guys at the top and everybody else.
All right, be careful with RC here. Sneaky power.
Anytime you can pass Pedro and Roger Clemens in any kind of mark, it reveals again what kind of Hall of Fame career you are.
Come on, Max.
You've had.
Finish it up, baby. Let's go.
Well, he's a lock first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question about that. Orlando Arcia
Good pitch.
On the corner for a strike, and it's 0-2.
That was a fastball on the outside corner that he was not. He froze them on that pitch. Come on. He's going to throw some garbage in the dirt now, see if he chases.
Field hit to drive it around the fourth. That was the first run for the Braves tonight. 0-2 from Max. And it's in the air, right field, pretty well hit. Back goes Marte to the warning track, back at the wall.
Oh, off the wall. Wow, that ball traveled. I didn't like that pitch. Don't like that pitch. Didn't like that pitch.
Oh, boy, needed around 3 more feet. Played perfectly by Nimmo, though. Backed up the right field.
I didn't like that pitch. 0-2, you throwing a fastball like that? I'm a little shocked by that. I would have thrown something in the dirt there.
I needed around another 6 feet
to get up into the grass seed area.
All right, be careful with Harris here. Come on, Max, let's go.
A bunt single and a strikeout tonight, and he fouls off first pitch cutter, 0-1.
Oh boy, and Harris really stands away from the plate. He had one good at bat in yesterday's game. Was Mets get the bullpen going with Dominic Leone. His last at bat, a line drive to right field, Harris.
Change up line in the right field for a base hit. Now tie up the game. Arcia around third. He comes in to score. Head for second. Harris to tag by Lindor and safe at second.
Well, stay with Scherzer, you lose with Scherzer. That's the way I see it. Tie game. Left it up again, that hanger.
Maybe a curveball and spin up the bat. But Michael Harris, he's got great speed. Just gets under his pad at second base. Just like the Mets in the fifth, they got 2 out in 9 inning. So do the Braves here.
So 2 out RBIs by both teams have been the difference for both teams today. Easy, I agree with that. 2 shutdowns we needed when we got the leads, and he didn't do it. Mike, that's where most pitchers, with lineups. But the bad pitch was to Arcia. 0-2 pitch, and you're throwing a fastball up in the zone. I don't know about that. I would have thrown it in the third and let him go fish.
Well, we've had 2 pretty good ball games here, back and forth.
Oh. Clutch hitting with 2 outs. Scherzer died in the 6th. Committee, I mean, yeah, true, but you got to make pitches too. It has nothing to do with that. You have your ace on the mound. Make the pitch. It's just that simple.
Acuna with a big hit. Everything coming up roses for Acuna Jr. this year. 10 strikeouts for Scherzer tonight with 11 hits.
All right, well, the big spots with Scherzer didn't get it done tonight. Very simple. All right, so Scherzer's coming out of the game. Dominic Leone's coming into the ball game. Again, it has nothing to do with the Braves being better, all right? You got to make the pitch. It's just that simple, right? Again, I just said it. 0-2 pitch to Arcia. Scherzer calls his pitches, so this is on Scherzer, right? 0-2 pitch, and you're going up in the zone on an 0-2 pitch. We all know you got to bury a ball in the dirt there. And Arcia is a high ball hitter. All right, but I mean, you all day just in these comments are just insane to me. But yeah, guys, jail. Yeah, I would think so. But again, I mean, again, the same thing like yesterday. Who are you putting in the 6th inning? Dominic Leone, because he's coming in now. You blame Scherzer in this aspect, right? You gave him a 4-1 lead, gave up runs right back. Every time we got runs, he gave up the lead. He gave up some runs. You can't do that. Sorry. Again, another 4-1 lead. You can't blow those games. All right, we're gonna kill the lineup again, or we're gonna kill the pitcher. Yeah, I can care less about Diaz. Your starter's on the mound. Diaz is not going to help the situation when you blow leads every single day. This doesn't work. Diaz has nothing to do with this. What would Diaz give us? 1 more win? Maybe 2? Not much more than that.
He had it all working, and then the slider betrayed him there in the last 2 innings.
Well, last time, once the Mets fell behind, they never had another hit the rest of the way.
Mike, I wouldn't be shocked. A little surprised that Rayleigh's not in the game against Olsen here.
Not going on the first pitch, and Olsen takes it high for ball 1. Could be 26 steals to lead the National League.
His numbers for Leon this season, we've seen him because of his good breaking ball come in to have to face a left-handed hitter.
Olsen fouls back the high fastball with 21.
Olsen earlier this year was striking out at a prodigious rate. Yeah, I know you mentioned before how many times he struck out there, but he lowered his hands to try to catch up to the high fastball so he could stop striking out at the rate he was.
81 strikeouts with one tonight. 1-1 to Olsen. 3 straight fastballs, 2 balls and a strike. Scherzer goes 5 2/3, 103 pitches, 11 hits, 5 runs so far, no walks, 10 strikeouts, 1 home run. Now that's to hope the Mets have a response. Cover misses inside. Now it's 3-1 to Olsen with Austin Riley on deck. It's surprising that Acuna is not run.
I think he's given Olsen a chance.
Leone has surrendered 3 stolen bases this year, none caught.
Didn't run there.
No. 3-1 to Olsen. He's running. Swung and a miss. Throw by Alvarez and a quick tag by Lindor. Acuna is safe at second. His 27th stolen base of the year.
So maybe Keith, early in the count, giving Olsen a chance to swing to the 2-run homer. Once he got the 3-1, he was off. It's a good pitch to hit, and you're going to score a double easily. And if he does this, it's a ball four. He's got to run. Pedal to the middle.
Now it's 3-2 to Matt Olson. Now he dribbles one. This time Alvarez will have a play.
All right, that ends the inning, but not before the Braves take the lead in the 6th inning. Top 7 coming up. 5-4 Braves. Again, it's just execution. It comes back down to execution. Does it again? Your ace is on the mound. You got to get it done. This is nobody to blame but Scherzer. Just that simple. All right. You take him out in the 6th inning. Dominic Leone is probably coming into the game like he did. So, I know there's people in the chat right now talking about, is Buck asleep? Well, what was Buck supposed to do there? Take out Scherzer for Dominic Leone and feel good about it? I don't know about that. We're talking about it in the group chat right now. We could talk about the Diaz injury. Is the Diaz really? Yeah. Of course, the Diaz injury is going to affect the fact that everybody would have been pushed down. And, maybe Scherzer would have been out of the game before the Harris hit and Raley would have came in the game. But, again, that doesn't mean that it would have worked out for us, right? We are. And it comes back to execution. I'm sorry. Max is not done, guys. Come on. Relax. He had 10 strikeouts today. I mean, he's not done. He was mowing them down. All right. One tough inning and to turn the game around. All right. Come on. Right. He wasn't done last start, was he? I mean, come on. Again, we're Monday morning quarterbacking again. It's stop it. After every start, oh, he's back. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's done. Come on. It doesn't work like that. Kirby Yates is in the game for the Braves. And according to Newman, I'm assuming that's not a move that he likes. And JL as well. But again, it is the Mets. They'll make him look like Cy Young, guys. Don't worry. Alvarez is leading off the inning in the top of the 7th. 5-4 Braves.
Hit a home run back in the 2nd inning that gave the Mets a 2-0 lead at the time. And he swings at the first pitch from Yates and fouls it off on a splitter, 0-1.
Yeah, we know he's not the same. Nobody's not saying he isn't. But he had 10 strikeouts tonight. So, I'm sorry. A pitcher who is done is not striking out 10 batters, especially against this lineup. Sorry. It's just, no. It's one bad inning.
Virtually
The same thing what happened in Carrasco yesterday. You know what? Let the offense win this game then.
And Alvarez takes that splitter for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he's not a 3 over 4 either.
Jeff McNeil for the Mets in the 7th. Let's took a 4-1 lead after Tommy.
I agree, Mullen. Let's show some fight. How about the offense win this ball game now? How about that? Right, because they don't tack on runs yesterday, and they haven't done it today. They got what, 4 hits? Well, tack on runs. Matt, I agree, Mothman. He's a solid 2 that shows flashes of 1.
At the start of this broadcast tonight, how June 7th is not a time.
Again, I don't care who's on the mound. You got a 4-1 lead. You're a major league pitcher. Finish the game. I'm not saying go 9, but you should win those ball games.
And 6.5 games beyond the Braves, and with Scherzer tonight and Verlander tomorrow, we talked about how if any games in June are important, these are.
And this was a game that you want Max to go 7 innings, hold the lead at 4-1, and let your bullpen do their job.
Good at bat by Alvarez there, getting it back to a full count.
After having a tough start in that last series, that's in September here.
Gary, I think it's a combination of both.
To Verlander, and you got to somehow find a way to score a couple of runs and win this one. But the Mets had 4 runs, but only 4 hits again.
Same as last night. So the question is, do they have the wherewithal to come from behind and win a game in this ballpark?
Strike 3. Nice pitch. Again, that's that Alvarez not looking at the outside corner. You throw an outside corner pitch, he's not hitting it. Mike, it's a player option. It's not a team option. So he's taking that option. Yeah, but Gary, he was a lot worse last year. There was no chance last year.
Just 3 for his last 26. And that's when they were scoring runs consistently last year.
Mullen, I agree with you.
Had the
100%.
ability to put together long strings of hits and walks and score without home runs. Right
You know,
now,
but everybody wanted power. You're getting the power. And this is what happens when you want power. When you get power, and that's the only offense you're getting, this is what you get with a power offense. Well, that's all we're getting is home runs. And this is what you get. So everybody who wanted power and power, this is what happens. And this is what teams that have only just power, and the Mets have been showing only just power over the last 2 weeks, right? Didn't they have 15 home runs in 16 games? And they lost a lot of those games.
Maybe to do too much, to hit the long ball, to try and get this team going, rather than thinking about that, put it in play, keep the line moving approach, which works so well.
Ball 4 for Nimmo. Mothman, if the Mets don't come back in this ball game, and even if they win tomorrow, even if they lose this game and win tomorrow, I think there's going to be I wouldn't say a panic move, but I think there's going to be a move. I think you have to. Well, Newman, the Mets got on base a lot last year, and people still complain about needing power when that wasn't the Mets' problem. I'm sorry. That's why when people, we're talking about the lineup and the pitchers going out, the catchers going out to the mound. So I'm gonna say this: everybody kept on bitching and moaning about the lineup, and when they were hitting all over the place, but they were lacking power, they were still scoring runs. People complained. Now this year, they were scoring 4.5 runs per game, similar to last year. Everybody wanted power. Well, now you got exactly what you wanted. Yet again, you wanted power. Well, they've been showing power for 2 weeks, and they've been losing the same amount of games. So what is it? You need a balance. The Mets are not a home run hitting team, and that's what they are right now, and it's killing this team. 4 runs, 4 hits? Come on. That's a base hit. Come on, Nimmo, get the third, baby. All right, first and third, 1 out. There we go. Come on, Francisco. Let's go, baby. Come on. It's always been the pitching, and it will not change. Right? You had 3-run leads, 4-1 leads in both games in this series. And you're gonna tell me it's not about pitching? But see, look, this is the Mets right here. Getting that walk, getting the base hit through the hole, first to third. That is what the Mets are, not power hitters. Until they realize that, you're gonna have problems. Come on, Francisco, base hit, baby. Come on. Don't gotta do too much. I'll take a sac fly here. Acuna is playing extremely deep in right field. Ooh. That was a good swing at that pitch.
9 out of 13 this year. He's gotten that runner from third.
Now, with all that being said of losing the lead here, how sweet could this be if you make the comeback?
On one to Francisco.
Good eye, good eye.
A ball to strike.
Good take right there. That's not an end fastball, one to lay off.
Keith, what do you make of the tiny leads that McNeil has been taking at first base?
Yeah, but Michael, you know what's the difference? They weren't as big a leads as the Mets had. They were 1-2-run leads. You have 3-run leads here. Like, it seems similar, yeah, absolutely. But
Splitter missed well off the plate. It's 2-1.
And I just don't think in this situation right now, Gary, first and third and one out.
we all take a 3-run bomb. But you know what? Can we stop acting like we're a home run hitting team and actually be the team we should be and just scattering the ball all over the yard? Come on, Francisco, base hit. Good eye. There you go. Good eye.
Murphy keeps it in the neighborhood, but now it's 3-1. Tommy Pham waiting on deck.
So Murphy doesn't slide over the block.
All right, Francisco.
Like a first baseman.
Only your pitch.
In 8 days, and it's showing.
Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, getting on the phone. They may have somebody up in a moment. Now Lindor in a great spot. First and third, 1 out. 3-1 count. And it's outside, ball 4.
All right, bases loaded, 1 out.
So 2 walks. Bracketed.
Tommy Pham coming up. Last at bat, he hits a 2-run homer with 2 outs.
Tommy Pham will forward his last time up. Coming to the plate.
Pitching coach coming out.
Take your time to walk out. No, he's not going to take his time. And this is the case where you want your pitching coach to walk
Muttley,
out.
I agree. I agree, but what you just saw right now with Nimmo, McNeil, and Lindor just now is exactly who the Mets should be, right? For the last 2 weeks, we've been a power hitting team and nothing else. And what have it's gotten us? Losses. Because you don't string any hits together. They hit a ton of solo home runs. In these last 2 games, they hit a couple of 2-run homers and a solo. But, like, the home runs, we're not a home run hitting team. They're nice to have, yes. But this team is not built like that. And if you're playing like that, you're going to get hurt more times than you're going to be successful. Right here, do we need a grand slam? I'd love it. But a base hit scores 2. Come on, Tommy. Base hit, baby. Come on.
Nimmo was the tying run at third. McNeil the go-ahead run at second. Lindor at first with 1 out.
Oh, put your elbow into it. God damn it. Put your elbow into it. Jesus. Put your elbow there. Take one for the team.
Struck out Alvarez to start the inning, but he walked Nimmo. McNeil with a base hit, then the walk to
Yeah, it's just a reaction. Ooh, 2-0. Oh, he can't find the plate. There's a situation, Tommy. Think, baby, think. Let him throw a strike before you swing. Gotta think. Gotta think.
One prior at bat against Yates, 0 for 1 against him. And a position to do damage here ahead of the count 2-0.
Let him throw a strike. Ball 3, yeah. There you go, Tommy. Good job, baby. Smart right there, smart. You've seen too many times hitters get way too aggressive. Yeah, Vogie, imagine. All right, let him throw 2 strikes, to be honest with you.
There's a strike three.
I let him throw another one. I wouldn't even swing.
Here comes a nice pitch to
I'm
hit.
telling you right now. Look in your zone. Look middle in. Anywhere else, don't swing. Let him make the pitch.
3-1 coming. At Bam pops it foul.
All right, that was a pitch. He missed it.
A little late.
I thought that was
Come on,
a
Tommy.
play in the infield.
So now a 3-2 count. With the bases loaded and one out. That's down a run in the seventh. 3-2 coming from Yates to Bam. And he fouled
There you go.
the fastball.
Good swing.
The best stretch that Tommy Pham's had in his first season with the Mets. And now they're looking for him to produce
Come on, Tommy. Come on.
in a huge spot.
Base
in the
hit.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming from Yates. And he hits
There
it
you go.
right center. That'll get the run in.
Get out, baby. Get out.
Toward the wall, and
Nice catch.
the catch is made by Acuna. What an amazing catch.
Nice catch.
Nimmo tags and scores.
Nimmo tags because it's tie and run. Ooh. That was a hell of a catch by Acuna, basically saving 3 runs. But we tied the game on a sac fly. Nice catch. That was a hell of a catch. Good. That was a hell of a catch. Can't hit it any better than that. Never gave up on that ball. Good job by Acuna right there. Nice catch. All right, we tied the game. Now let's get a 2-out RBI, baby. Let's go.
Did the proper thing. Nimmo stayed
That's a hell of a catch. Great job by Acuna not giving up on that ball. I didn't think he hit it that far.
So the Mets get back even.
Come on, Brett.
Brett Beatty looking to get that lead run home from second with 2 out.
Big 2-out RBI here.
And Beatty pulls one on the
Ah,
ground,
hit it
right
hard.
out, please. And that retires the side.
All right, so the Mets tied a game right there. Unfortunately, you can't do nothing about that. You hit that ball, 370 feet? It took a great catch to save a couple of runs there. Good job by Acuna there. Mets tied a game, going to the bottom of the 7th. Yeah, that was a hell of a play. And again, what are you going to do there? That was a shot. But Mets tied a game. You know, the last couple of weeks, the Mets wouldn't have tied the game. Let's be honest. Right? But look, the bullpen arms are coming in now. You're probably going to get the Ottavinos, the Raley's, the Robertsons next 3 innings. So, got to get committee because the Braves are one of the smartest organizations in baseball. You got to get them at the right time. That's why, in situations when you just know you got a player, go up to him. You don't think a kid's going to throw away $120 million? The Braves know what they're doing. That's why the Braves front office is the best, probably the best in baseball. I would think it's like 1-2 with the Rays, the way they develop players. Yeah, Bravo, and that's the other thing too. And it gives the players options as well. It's a great job by Anthopoulos with the Braves. It is what it is. And look, that's a great catch. Listen, he could have easily gave up on that ball and played it off the wall. That was not giving a shit about your body right there. That's a great play. Yeah, you know what? But you know what? You tip your cap, right? Tommy Pham did the job in that aspect, right? He hit the ball. I mean, I didn't even think he hit it that hard. That ball kept on traveling. Yeah, Bravos. Mothman, I wouldn't call it a deflator. A deflator would have been what the Mets have been showing all year and not scoring in that spot. All right, well, Dominic Leone is in the 7th. Let's see if he can get his zeros here.
He swings and misses at a cutter, nothing in 1.
Yeah, Mothman, I didn't even think it was going to hit the wall. I thought it was a sac fly. I didn't think he hit it that hard. And I just saw Cooney keep on going back. All right, come on, Dominic, let's go.
Against Toronto on Sunday. Runner passed him out. They went there.
All right.
Neal to grab it.
1 out.
And it goes
All right.
out Riley all the way. Let's check in with Steve.
Guys, real quick, let's take a look at the live same-game parlay. It is presented, as always, by PointsBet. I think that's going to win this one. And for the 12.5 runs are going to be scored, that's going off at plus 300 right now. Eric?
Well, it'll have to be at least 11. Here's Sean Murphy. Murphy hit the 2-run homer that got the Braves comeback started. They were down 4-1 when he hit the 2-run shot against Scherzer in the 5th. Murphy now with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs in 5 games against the Mets this season. Leone's retired his first 2 batters. This is where he ran into trouble Sunday, coming back after getting the last out in the 6th. Gave up a single to Vladimir.
All right, Rally's warming up.
2-run homer to Brandon Bell.
Yeah, if Rally's warming up, I'm a little shocked by this. But I think they're worried about Rally facing Murphy here.
Better results this time. Brooks Raley, you saw up in the bullpen with the left-hand hitter Rosario on deck. So this might be Leone's last batter.
Murphy's been more like.
Well, remember in the beginning of the year when the Mets were beating the Marlins and everybody's like, oh, the Mets are only beating the Marlins. Well, they aren't so bad after all, you know? Nice pitch. No, Dominic Leone has these like outings. Like he'll look really bad in one and then really bad in another. It's like a hit and miss with Leone. He's got nice stuff. It's just that he loses it sometimes.
1-2 coming. Tied him up inside. Did he go? He did not.
That was a really nice pitch. Tied him up, just missed the inside corner.
Like to see him double up inside there with a strike, but probably back with the breaking ball.
And Murphy rolls over one.
Nice pitch.
Leone set up. He's got that pitching toe with the left foot angled backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you know, we can complain, oh, why isn't Raley in here at this point out of Vino? The only guy I trust is Robertson. Anybody else I don't trust.
It's a good call, Ryan. Murphy skies run to center.
Pop that up, just missed that pitch. But got it up just enough.
Hey, kids, you can join us in the booth to call
Kendall with the few seconds before it happens. I love it. Rob, are Brave fans tolerable? Listen, the majority of them that come on my channel are. But isn't there fans that are not tolerable anywhere? All right, so Dominic Leone's coming out of the game. Raley's coming in for the left-hander. So Dominic Leone got 3 batters and 3 outs. Good job by him. Raley's coming in to face the lefty. Yeah, listen, every fan base has intolerable fans. Like, let's be honest. Like, there's not a fan base that doesn't have a bunch of idiots and jerks. Like, I'll be the first to tell you that. Right? I probably get mad at more Mets fans and probably have arguments with more Mets fans than fans of other teams. You know, everybody can be irrational, including myself. I never leave myself out of it, right? And I think you guys appreciate the fact that I hold myself accountable the same way I would hope you guys hold yourself accountable, right? I say stupid things. My predictions, my opinions aren't always right. I admit that, you know, but when you talk about stupid things like the Pete Alonso situation, like, I'm sorry, was Pete Alonso the only one trash talking ever in baseball? No, he just hit a 2-run homer to give a 4-1 lead at that point. Why wouldn't you trash talk at that point? It doesn't matter about the standings. It's early in the season. You know, the team is struggling. Pete was trying to fire up his bench. What's wrong with that? Nothing. And Morton wasn't trying to hit Alonso there because you saw Morton's reaction after he hit him. Well, Howie, again, I've been to Atlanta, Mets Braves games in Atlanta in Turner Field. I've never been to the new ballpark yet. Yeah, Mothman, I saw that tweet. I know. But you know what? That's certain people. You know, that's certain idiots. And that guy, Sports Talk ATL on Twitter, he's the biggest phony of them all. I can't stand that guy. And any Brave fan can remix this video, this 3 seconds, and send it to him because I can care less. Because he's garbage, in my opinion. His content is good, yet him being a jerk and an idiot when it comes towards saying things about certain players to get hurt and good for them is a joke. Yeah, CPA, but it also can be a Kickstarter in our ass too, right? All right, so Brooks Raley is in the game for Rosario.
Today, he swings and misses badly, and a slider to start him off.
Well, look how Rosario splits.
I do think Philly fans are worse, though, to be honest with you. Again, you guys know the story, and I'll say it after this at bat.
This is a move you probably don't make if someone's on base. No one's on base. Let him take the at-bat. This is the only left-hander the Mets have, and you still have Rosario for later innings.
I mean, when you think about facing this powerful Braves lineup, who do you
Oh, he went.
want?
Oh, come on. Jesus Christ. All right, the first one he didn't go. The second time he went.
Yeah, but Olsen, again, he had a year where he had 20.
Come on, Brooks, don't lose him here.
So he doesn't shy away from the lefties either. Big pitch here.
Ozzie Albies on deck. And if you don't get Rosario here, then you got Albies, who's hitting 424 as a right-hand batter.
That was a rough,
Right, Chill's left-handed pitch.
lucky pitch right there. He got away with it.
Come in and face 3-batter rule.
And it's just 22 at bat, so 2-2 coming. And he
Popped it up.
on the infield.
Somebody call it. All right, Frankie, take control. There you go. All right, good job. Got the run and put up zeros next inning. Get that lineup back up there. Come on. Top of the 8th coming up. And again, guys, listen. Look, as I said, and I told you when I was in Philly, twice it happened. And again, it's not everybody. I want to make that clear because I have friends that are huge Philly fans that I've been to games with. It's, it's not everybody. I was at a Phillies game. Obviously, the Mets were there. The Mets were winning. I was cheering. I wasn't, cursing or getting in people's faces. I'm not that type of fan, right? I cheer for my team. Let's go Mets chant. Do some Pete Alonso chants or whatever players up. Let's go Frankie. Stuff like that. Nothing that would be disrespectful towards a fan ever. I never do that. Not that type of guy, right? And I got hot dogs and soda and probably, I think it was beer, maybe soda, might have been everything thrown at me for twice. I've been there about 7 times. It happened twice. So again, it's not everybody. It's certain few, and I'm not one of those people that sit behind home plate. I'm not one of those bougie fans that I'm only sitting on field level. No. I'm an upper deck guy. I'm a bleacher guy. I'm a guy that likes to be with the real fans. The fans that cheer throughout the game and don't sit there with their hands on their phones or, hands on their laps, right? Me, I'm one of those guys that I will, if I'm I went to Yankee Stadium last year. I remember I told you guys this. I was in the left field bleachers. I was surrounded by Yankee fans. Yankees won the game. The Mets came back in the ball game, but the Yankees ultimately won. And me and the Yankee fans going back and forth, but respectfully. At the end of the game, I shook their hands. Not wrong with that. You show sportsmanship, but there was trash talking. That's it. Well, I think everybody hates the Patriots. No, Mothman, no. They're not going to start fights because they're punks, okay? They're not going to come up to you and start fighting because the guys that throw hot dogs and beer are the ones that are the biggest chickens of them all. Right? You want to say something to my face. That's the way it is. I'm not the biggest guy in the world at all, but I tell you right now, I will throw fists if I have to. All right, Nick Anderson, Marte up. And that's a base hit by Marte. Good job. First pitch, 1 pitch, 1 hit. There we go. Good start in the V8. Grant. Hey, listen, you were selling the beer they were throwing, Grant. That's your fault. All right, Stalin, that's a nice piece of hitting right there. First pitch, fastball swinging. Like that. Daniel Vogelback. Come on, Danny. Let's go, boy. Come on. You're so due. So due.
He was not ready to steal on that first pitch. In fact, he was standing on the base as the pitch was thrown.
Come on, Danny. Let's go, man. Freaking do something. Show us you have a pulse. My God.
Long hold by Anderson. He had Marte going back to the bag, and he
Anything
striking the curveball.
thigh
So,
to knee, he just can't hit.
Big league career, Nick Anderson has given up one stolen base. He's quick to the
Come on,
plate.
Danny, let's go.
Different times, right?
0 for 2 this year. And Vogelback takes the curveball down, 1-2.
Going to see from Anderson, 95 miles an hour on the fastball, up in the zone, curveball out of the same location.
Yeah, I think both managers are making interesting bullpen decisions tonight.
Yes, he was.
Very interesting.
Good call.
Bogey, that's the pitch. Come on, Bogey. That's something you got to drive, man. Jesus.
They did it all year like that.
Come on, Bogey. Let's go.
They did it all year.
Kevin Cash is
Come on. Hit one down the
and
line.
they may win the World Series this year. But
Oh,
never put
easy.
that down.
Ooh, almost threw that ball away.
That's got a run on the 7th on the sac fly by Pham. The first run allowed by the Atlanta bullpen. After going 17 and a third innings without allowing one.
I'm surprised Minter's not in the game since Bravos brought that up.
Marte at first with nobody out. Long hold by Anderson. That's one way to stop the running game.
Anything but that.
So Marte never able to steal the base. Vogelback bounces into the double play and just like
So
that,
frustrating.
runner erased.
Look at they're showing the Mets fans screaming at Vogelback. Oh, you can't make it up.
2 out and nobody on now. Marcano.
Rough, man. Rough.
Grounded out twice and flied out. And he takes a curveball for a strike. 0-1.
Yeah. You know, would I have a pinched hit for Vogie? Probably. At least to try to get somebody a little bit faster to stay out of a double play.
And Canada drives one to center field. Harris chasing
Get out!
to the line drive.
Jesus.
2 innings in a row.
Nice plays. Defense saves games sometimes.
Cody in the 7th, and now Harris with a circus catch.
Nice play. Great play.
Away from Canada.
Yeah, Bravos. That's insane. All right. So, bottom of the 8th, still tied. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. Yeah, all right. It's insane what he's doing right now. I mean, it would be cool to see somebody bat 400, but you know, the problem is he's in our division. And if he's gonna hit 400, that means he's gonna tear us apart in the division. And we don't need that. He can hit 400 against everybody else, but hit about 100 against us. How about that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I said, you know, it's always nice to see a guy who's not really performing offensively still plays good defense because that shows he's still mentally there. And that was a great catch. Like, let's be honest. That was not an easy play. That ball's a rope. And those are easy. Those are not easy to judge as a center fielder. So that's a good play by him. So getting to the late part of the game here. Tie game. I'm assuming you're going to see Ottavino in the 8th. Maybe it's matchups. I don't know what the hell Buck's going to do. He might throw Robinson in the 8th, to be honest. He's done that before. Easy. You noticed that too, right? Yeah. He didn't get a good jump on the ball either. But he ran it down. Yeah, he ran as hard as he could. Not hard enough. Well, Bravos, he is a leadoff man, so, you know, it's hard to get a lot of people on base with him. So that's the issue there. If he was batting like 4th or 5th, I could see him getting probably more RBIs. And it's funny, they talked about like the exit velo. He has like one of the 3rd lowest in all of baseball, which is insane. But again, you know, that's analytical stats that I can care less about. Can you hit, you know, home runs and stuff like that? So they're leaving Rayleigh in the game to face Albies, who's great right-handed. Very interesting. Very interesting here. I'm a little shocked by that.
Look at his splits.
Well, 06 OPS is a right-hand batter.
You know, from that left side, he really sits back on that left leg, but he's looks more comfortable And evenly dispersed.
Hayden, I don't want to learn
on
it.
the right side.
I think a lot of it's pointless. I'll always live by that. There's no way you can tell me that a guy is not good by looking at him. I'm sorry. I don't need 47 stats to tell me that a player is good. Sorry. I don't. Ooh, that was a terrible pitch to swing at.
That'd have been 3-1. Interesting. Same stance. Left and right for Albies. Open, stiff leg.
Yeah, but CJ, listen.
Big leg kick and a hand.
Like, honestly,
He does left-handed.
Chavez is on the bench.
Very
He can talk to the players.
You see that in a switch hitter.
Like, I think that's just making excuses for a team that's not playing well,
2-2 to Albies is fouled away.
to be honest.
Now the Reds walked off the Dodgers for the second straight night. Will Benson is
Yeah, I agree with that. But remember, analytics was the reason why the Mets got Vogel back. That's why analytics are stupid. Because anybody can find any analytics for a player to fit their narrative. This guy's a good player because I'm going to take, this analytical stat that is only around for 5 years to make him say, well, this is why we got him. This is why he's a good player. That's why I don't like analytics. Certain analytics is important in the game. But when you have to reach and claw for analytics, for things that you have to dig deep on to find one analytic stat that makes him a good player is idiotic to me. You can see what a good player is just by watching him every day. CJ, pray to any God you want to. Hopefully it starts today.
Tommy Hunter is up, and so is Adam Ottavino. 3-2 coming. That's it to shortstop.
All right. Good job. Lindor took a little bit of time there. 2 outs.
He fly down that was a bullet, and he made it a bang play.
No challenge.
Yeah, Grant, the only thing I worried about there was Albies is so much better from the right side, That's what I worried about. And, you're keeping him in for Ozuna, too, which is interesting. Very interesting. But like you said, he has good splits.
5 2/3, 5 runs, 11 hits, no walks.
CJ, I agree.
ERA goes up from 3.21 to 3.
But we got to get out of this inning first.
Rarely falls beyond little Ozuna 2-0.
I don't even think it's playing in New York City. I just think there's too many times in baseball where you can just use your gut. Get that gut feeling. I got to take that pitcher out. Well, I know Rayleigh has good numbers against both sides, but I just think these guys they're breaking ball. They're hitters that can easily catch up to that type of fastball. And now he's going to put it on Avino.
He has Hunter and Ottavino up. RSA will be the batter. Call to the bullpen brought to you by.
All right, so Ottavino's coming in. I don't really like again. I know the splits when it comes to Rayleigh. I just don't like that. Sometimes you play a little bit of the matchups. The breaking ball has been. I know the breaking ball is problems for the Braves, but you got a guy in Rayleigh who doesn't throw hard. So exactly, Newman. I agree with that. Well, Mike, I'm going to tell you this right now. Because Rayleigh has good splits against righties and lefties. I mean, he got Albies out, and he's the hottest. He's been great right-handed against lefties. So, in that spot with Ottavino, I don't like that matchup. But now Ottavino's coming into the game. Well, get it out. Get out of the inning. That's it. Yeah, and Bravos, listen, it's not like the Mets are immune to it. We had Jose Reyes as well. That was also an issue, right? I mean, it wasn't to the extent of Ozuna, that was caught on body cam and all that stuff, but Reyes was, got caught for something like similar, So it's like, again, you care as a person outside of the thought process of baseball, but if you can help your team, let's be honest, the sports fans don't care. Personally, you don't like him, but if he helps your team, you don't think about that. You worry about that after the game. All right, so Ottavino's in.
This season, one that stands out, strikeouts, innings pitched.
Sam Hilliard will be the pinch runner after the double by Ozuna, but the go-ahead run at the scoring position. Orlando Arce is the batter. Arce who had the go-ahead RBI for the Braves last night. 2 for 3 tonight, including an RBI infield hit. And he hits the first pitch on the ground.
All right, Mark, nice play. All right, Mark, good play.
They get the second out.
Nice play.
Moves over to third. Canada just made sure that ball didn't get by him. Kept it in the neighborhood.
No, that's why Canada's comfortable at first. Kept his body in front of the ball right there. Look at that. Got his body in front of it just in case it got through. And look, if he would have tried to backhand that or try to, catch it on the side, that ball would have popped over his glove.
Here's Michael Harris, who's had himself a good night. RBI double his last time up. Great catch in center field the last half inning. And Ottavino misses.
Howie, I understand that, but Ozuna is still, he was one of the, when he played for the Cardinals, he was a dangerous power hitter. I know Reyes was a better player all around, but still, when you got talent, you get extra chances in sports. It's just that simple. Come on, Otto, let's go.
He takes a rip and a cutter running in on him.
Yeah, clearly was instantly released, but he was a minor leaguer. So it's a little different. He wasn't on your team, per se.
Harris, 2 hits and 4 career.
And Minter's warming up, which is not surprising. Come on, Otto, let's go. Uh-oh. Well, again, the pitcher's got to execute once again. Ottavino. Again, this is what I talk about every single time. Right? Again, are we blaming Buck here? What are you supposed to do? See what I'm saying? The pitcher got to execute every time. I told you guys. There you go. Again, talk about the lineup once again. Please talk about the lineup. Everybody can shut up about the lineup. Right? You got one of your best relief pitchers in there. You can't leave a breaking ball over the plate to a guy who's been struggling all year. His best game of the year.
Grounded down third and goes by Bailey to Lindor. Can't throw out Acuna. And the inning continues. Thought that Bailey was going to cut that ball off, but he did not. And Lindor didn't have
Yeah, well, blame Epler, right? For all the people, and a lot of you are here, and I'm glad you are. Keep blaming Buck. I'm sorry. Buck is not great. I'll give you that. But you know what? Can the pitchers execute? And again, I said this last year. Ottavino's last year was his best year of his career. I never trusted Ottavino, and I said that from a long time. Sorry. And Hefner's coming to the mound to talk to Ottavino, telling him he sucks. Again, the same thing. Well, Lindor, that's fine, but he is one of your best relievers. Rarely, clearly didn't have it. You can't leave Rarely in there, even though you could have. Mets fan, congratulations. But again, execution, pitching execution. Continue to bring up the lineup, and you're going to get destroyed by me every single time. You scored 4 runs yesterday. You had a 3-run lead. You scored 5 runs, At one point, he had a 3-run lead. Again, I know that. I understand that. Now, again, Epler brought in Rayleigh and brought in Robertson and brought back Ottavino, thinking that Diaz would have been part of this team. So you can't. He did get 4 guys that would have been great, but when you lose Diaz, your bullpen doesn't look as good, and this is where you came into. Again, I'm sick of people talking about the lineup because you're absolutely fucking wrong. This team is playing bad because of the pitching. If you don't believe that, you're not paying attention. And if you don't pay attention, I can't help you. Very simple. Again, fuck the analytics. Fuck the lineup. You score 4 or 5 runs a game, you should win ball games in Major League Baseball. You got the ace on the mound, and you threw your best pitchers here, and you're still losing. So who is it? Sorry. Pitching wins ball games. Howie, it is. But you know what? The Mets came back, which the offense, for the most part, found a way to get a run there. Again, you got great catches there that saved a couple of runs. Hayden, I love you, but you've bounced around a lot, my friend. I love you, man. But it's always been the pitching. Again, we had shows that all we hear is about the lineup, and people are banging on Buck. When what is Buck supposed to do? He did exactly what you probably wanted to do. Every pitcher you wanted out there, Rarely, Ottavino, they didn't get the job done. What are you supposed to do? Pitching wins championships. And then look, Ottavino's balking now as well. See? Yeah, thank you. The pitching is the problem. All right? The Braves lineup is extremely good, but they also have very good pitching.
We've seen it several times this year where managers have come out to question balls.
Yeah, we could be hitting better, but you score 4 or 5 runs a game, and you have 3-run leads in both games. You can't hold it. Who are you blaming here?
So no pitch on that last one to Olsen. It's 1-1. So Acuna at second with 2 on. And Acuna stealing third.
Oh, that's the other thing about Ottavino. Can't hold on runners either.
Mets weren't really even defending that play. 2 outs.
So on the count to Olsen.
I agree. You can put any pitcher you want in there. I don't trust anybody.
Olsen takes a rip at a
It's just that simple. Again, another person talks about the lineup. You're wasting your time. I'm telling you, because I will destroy you with every bit of evidence to show you that it's been the pitching all along.
These 2 games in Atlanta have been already very similar stretch. That was only 3. Yes, I think Olsen thought that the pitch on the ball counted, and it did not.
Captain, that's cute. That's cute, but you have the biggest trash talkers on your team. Again, Captain, only show up when you win. Congratulations. I know how you are, because the Mets were leading and you didn't show up. See that problem? That's called a bandwagon fan. Bravos and JL, I love you because you're here win or lose. Those are the fans that are the problem.
Long lead at third for Acuna coming down the line.
Captain, I bet you said that Pete Alonso probably deserved it because you actually said that in the comments. That's why you get blocked, because you're an idiot. You're one of those idiots that says Alonso deserves everything he gets. So that's the typical fan. That's one of those fans that can't wait for Georgia football and is a bandwagon fan. Yeah, well, look, again, and this is what I'm going to keep on talking about. Mets fans, I gave you homework every month this year, from the 25-game mark, the 40-game mark, now the 62-game mark. How many times this year the New York Mets scored 5 runs or more? Go back and look. There's 62 games so far. They already scored 5 runs here today. Yesterday, 4 runs. Okay, fine. But when you have 3-run leads, I think you should win ball games. I don't care who the lineup you're facing. Right? Look at the games. How many runs did they score? 5 runs or more, and the pitching blew the game. Either was early on where they could keep leads with the starters or the bullpen. You can't give up leads. You can't. When you don't trust anybody, it goes right to blaming the manager. Like, great. Who do you trust here besides Robertson? You want to pitch Robertson in the 6th inning? Great. Bring Robertson in the 6th inning to hold a 4-run lead. And then you're going to have these other idiots that can't pitch in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Right? It's always about pitching. I don't care what analytics you give me. I don't care what you talk about, like, oh, baseball is won now based on home runs. You sure about that? Because the Mets are hitting a lot of home runs and they're not winning shit right now. So there's no argument with the lineup. Pitching is important, right? Did the Braves win in 2021 just because the offense was pretty damn good? Or was their pitching extremely good? Right? That bullpen was pretty damn good in 2021. Well, yeah, lost exactly. Harris hasn't been good all year, and he has a great game here. You tip your cap, but also this bullpen, this whole pitching from the starters to the bullpen. You got leads, you got to hold them. You know, you'll have your, mishaps every now and then, but you're supposed to hold those leads.
He filled in as the closer early this season because Raisel Iglesias began the year on the injury.
Alvarez coming out. The Mets have 9-1-2, down by 2.
Iglesias' shoulder issues, that's why they're reluctant to pitch him back-to-back days. Pitchers just 7 out of 10 in save opportunities, and the Mets will try and rally against him in the 9th.
Well, Minter's tough, so it won't be easy if they actually show a pulse in the 9th.
7-5 Atlanta now in the 9th. And a ground ball toward the middle of the diamond, but there's Arcia to cut it off.
1 out. Well, with even that, Howie, one arm is probably not going to would have made a difference. Again, yeah, Joe. I mean, it's not pretty. Could be a lot worse.
This game turned in the 7th inning. The Mets were trying to rally. They were down 5-4. The bases loaded. Tommy Pham hit one of the right field fence. And Ronald Acuna climbed the wall.
That's true, too. The defense kept them in the game in the 7th inning there. That could have been 3 runs if Acuna didn't catch that ball.
And Nimmo punches one foul and quickly down to the count 0-2. So it was gone between these two teams since the Mets took 4-5.
CJ, maybe, but you know what? If Tommy Pham was ever in the game, would Pete Alonso would have hit that home run? Who knows? You know, I hate that what-if situation. It's just like, come on, you had leads. You got to hold them. Newman, have a good night, buddy.
Coming, and it will go over foul. Brian Snitker trying to reach a milestone tonight. He's trying for his 579th win as Braves skipper. It's one behind George Stallings for 3rd place all time behind Bobby Cox and Frank Sallee. Stallings finished back in the 19 teams for the Boston Bees. 1-2 coming. Swing and miss.
Strike 3. What Nimmo has done best for the last month to strike out. Well, CJ, Stearns will be here. Guarantee that. Tom, I'm not going to kill him on either one of those, to be honest with you. I think Stroman was toxic in this dugout. And Bassett, again, nobody wanted him after what he did against the Braves and the Padres. Nobody wanted him. And then with the comments that he had, just because he pitched well during the season, the 2 biggest games of his career, he didn't pitch well. So CJ, I don't want to hear about power. The Mets have been hitting home runs for 2 weeks now and been losing games like crazy. So it's not about the power either. It's about the pitching.
That's too high. Ball to strike to McNeil. Jeff trying to get Lindor to the plate as a right-hand batter, which has been his better side this year. Big night for Harris with a great catch and a 2-run homer. Great catch by Acuna to turn this game. And a fastball below the knees, 2-1. Brooks Raley's pitcher of record on the short side. Justin Verlander will have the ball in his hands tomorrow night for the final game of this series. And McNeil gets one of the air to right
Game over.
field. Drifting over is Acuna.
And once again, the Mets had a lead, lost it once again. Again, bring up the lineup again. You will be a fool. Once again, Scherzer had a 4-1 lead, gave it back. The best pitcher of the night for the Mets was Dominic Leone. I bet nobody would have predicted that one. If I would have told you Scherzer, Leone, Ottavino, and Raley, all those guys came in the game. Which pitcher you thought would have had the worst outing? Dominic Leone. He had the best outing. 3 hitters, 3 outs. So what was Buck supposed to do there? You scored 5 runs. You had a 4-1 lead once again. The pitching is the problem. The pitching's been the problem. Every game, it seems like it's been the pitching. If you don't understand that, you have not been paying attention to the team, or you just want to complain about Daniel Vogelback. Because you scored 5 runs today. You had multiple leads today. You had a 2-run lead, 2-0 lead, and a 4-1 lead. I'm sorry, guys. You get leads and you constantly give them up. Who are we blaming? I just don't understand any other argument. And if you have another argument about the lineup, and I guarantee you, some in the group chat and some on Twitter are going to complain about the lineup. They should have scored 8 runs. Great. When we score 8 runs, we lose 9-8. Again, this has more to do about the Mets pitching than it does about the Braves, right? Great defense by the Braves, right? Acuna didn't make that catch. 3 runs would have scored and might have changed the outcome of the game. Mets fan, no, it's a contusion on the wrist. It's day to day. So I'm assuming he probably won't play tomorrow. Who knows? But it's not long term. Yeah, 4 runs should be in striking distance to win a game. Not saying that 4 runs is great, but again, it should be enough when you have your ace on your mound. I'm sorry. Scherzer had a 3-run lead going into the 6th. Couldn't get out of the 6th. Scherzer gave up the lead. Blame him. But the Mets also tied the game. Offense tied the game. Can't really do nothing about the defense making great plays. When you hit the ball hard and the guy makes a great catch, what are you going to do? Can't blame the batter there. Can't blame the offense. Right? That's something that you just tip your cap. But you had a tie game. You had pitchers that supposedly everybody wants in the game. No more Dominic Leone, no more Tommy Hunter, no more Brigham. Well, you had Raley and Ottavino and Dominic Leone. Out of the 3, Dominic Leone had the best outing. You can't make it up. So whatever you wanted Buck to do, bullpen-wise, he brought those guys out there. They didn't get it done. It comes down to pitching, execution. And now what happens here is now you got to leave come tomorrow, probably without Alonso in the lineup, which, again, the Mets scored 5 runs without Alonso today, right? So, again, not about the lineup. Now we got to count on, which we should count on, because he's getting paid the money, and he's like a co-ace. Verlander needs to step up. Like, give me 7 solid innings of no runs, right? What else are you going to say with the offense? We scored 9 runs in 2 games. Right? It's not exploding offense, but it's enough to win ball games. Especially, it's not like the Mets scored 5 runs and they tried to come back when they gave up 6 runs and they lost that way. The offense gave the pitchers leads in both games. And it was a 2-run lead, 3-run lead. You can't lose those games. Sooner or later, could we please put the pitchers accountable instead of complaining about the lineup? When you see the lineup come out, there is more comments about the lineup massaging and bitching and moaning, and I don't hear nothing about the pitching until after the fact, right? Me and Hayden, we're buddies, man. We got a show together. You know, we always don't always agree, but guess what? We had a little bit of a disagreement in our chat, right? Talking about, you know, Buck, and here goes Nick, Buck. It's not Buck. How is it Buck's fault today? The offense scored 5 runs. He put in Tommy Pham to replace Pete Alonso. I guarantee you everybody wanted Vientos at that point, right? So you got egg in your face, right? What was he supposed to do? He had Raley in there and Ottavino, 2 guys you're supposed to trust in your bullpen. He brought in Leon when everybody was bitching about Leon. I see it in the group chat. I saw it in this chat. Why would you put Leon in that spot? Well, he got 3 outs. Raley didn't do the job, and Ottavino gave up the 2-run homer. It's very simple, guys. Right? Continue to beat up the man. Look, Buck has not been great this year. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But what was Buck supposed to do here? Put Robertson in the 6th inning? And then what we would have done in the 7th and 8th? Seeing these bums that just gave up the game? Right? It's a trickle down. Dominic Leone was your best pitcher today. If I would have told you, once again, Scherzer, Leone, Ottavino, Raley, out of those 4 pitchers, which one do you think would have had the worst outing? You would have said Dominic Leone. Well, he had the best outing. Even with Scherzer's 10 strikeouts, couldn't keep a 4-1 lead. Buck, just imagine being a manager in the dugout, and you know Scherzer's probably done after the 6th. You're praying he gets through the 6th because you don't trust anybody. Now Scherzer doesn't get through the 6th. What do? You know, when the manager doesn't trust the pen, and there's maybe one guy, and unfortunately for the Mets, it's one guy who's the closer. And none of your setup guys, your bridge guys, or your long men you can trust. That's a huge problem. And that goes to Epler. So, again, I put up a poll the other day, and it was like 45 to like 46 when it came to Epler and Buck. And I had also a couple of other players in there as well, along with Cohen. Buck was so high even when Epler was still in there. So that just tells me that only people are looking at the lineup. Because I can tell you right now, every stupid decision about the lineup is all about Buck, and that's fine. But when you bring the guys in that are supposed to do the job, in Ottavino, in Raley, what are you going to do? Who do you go to? You throw Robertson in the 6th inning and make him pitch 6, 7, 8, and 9 and pray for the best? You can't do that. Again, that is a problem. You had a 4-1 lead with Scherzer. He gave it up. Okay, shit, sucks. The Mets still had an opportunity to win the game. They tied the ball game off of a sac fly with a great catch. Unfortunate for the Mets. If that ball doesn't get caught, it's probably 3 runs. The base is clear. Most likely. Definitely 2 runs, maybe 3. That would have probably changed the whole ball game. You never know the outcome. You don't know. But it comes down to the fact when your manager doesn't trust anybody, the Monday morning quarterbacks are going to come out after the results and say, Buck should have never made that move. Just like that. Because after the fact, it didn't work out. But who is he supposed to put on at any moment here? Unless you're going to put Robinson in the 6th inning, then you have no argument. And yeah, again, Robinson can get 6 outs, but you have to get to the 8th inning. That's fine. But again, you had 2 outs with Ottavino, with Harris, who's been struggling. Rarely couldn't get out of his own way. I think Buck wanted to leave Rarely in there specifically for the two left hit for Harris if he would have came up. I think that was important, and Rarely couldn't get through the inning. So we had to bring in Robinson because Rarely didn't have it. So we had no choice there. Yeah, Keith, I get that the second lefty in the pen. I understand that, but the Braves only have one lefty as well. So, yeah, Pete, I agree. And that's what annoys me the most. It's like you can't look at the results after the fact and say, well, he should have done this. Of course you're going to say that. You look like a genius after the fact, right? Everybody looks like a genius after the fact. But in the moment, when your manager doesn't trust anybody except for your closer and you're in the seventh inning, and then look, if Rayleigh would have came in, right, and then Buck would have been like, all right, we're going to bring Robertson in the eighth inning. Fine. So that means Ottavino is going to be left for the ninth. You don't think he would have probably gave up the game anyway? Because he's been pitching like crap the last couple of weeks? Nick, I agree, but I just brought that up, right? You bring Robertson in the eighth. There is a ninth inning. What if Robertson has a tough eighth inning and he throws 25 pitches and you can't pitch him in the ninth? Good, Buck has to go. That's not changing the fact that the bullpen is trash. Buck can't trust anybody. We scored 4 runs yesterday and 5 runs today. It wasn't the lineup's fault. But I agree. Those decisions are bad. And I didn't bring that one up because that was a bad decision. I agree with you on that part. But I just had a group chat having arguments with people that's saying, oh, you had to take out Scherzer. Yesterday, take out Carrasco after 76 pitches when he's pitched well through 5 innings. You can't do that. Who are you bringing in? Dominic Leone, bring him. The guys you don't trust, Drew Smith. How did that work out? Yeah, Nick, I understand it, but again, you're going through after the results. That's the problem. And again, as bad as you just gave me the stats about Ottavino. So pitching him in the 8th or 9th is different? No. Because the last thing you need is for Robertson to come into the 8th inning and you got nobody for the 9th that you trust. And you could be going into the 9th inning tied, and you're really screwed because now Jeff Brigham and Drew Smith are the guys left, and then you'd be in trouble. Well, Andre, but that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. The pitching is the problem. Alexander, again, I wasn't around with Seaver. I only see video and stories and what my dad told me and stuff like that. But yeah. So, yeah, I mean. Mets fan? Well, I mean, it's probably possible. But we also said that against Elder, who had a 1.96 ERA, and the Mets put up 4 runs against them. So, and the Mets actually has Strider's number in his early career so far. He strikes out a ton, but he also falls apart sometimes too. Again, and he's done it against the Mets multiple times. Even this year, when the Braves gave him a big lead in Citi Field, he gave it right back. So the Mets have hit Strider. Again, I'm not going to be the one here saying it's going to be easy. But the Mets scored 9 runs in 2 games. With leads, by the way. It's not like they were catching up coming from behind. They had leads. Sorry. The pitching shows up today and the offense will show up today. Fine. But you should have won these 2 games. And the third game would have been irrelevant. You already won the series. You sweep, great. That's wonderful. But you had 2 3-run leads in a game, in both games. I mean, you got Brave fans telling you that if you can flush a Strider, which the Mets seem to do a lot with Strider, doesn't mean Strider's not going to pitch well. But if you work the count, you foul off good pitches, and you get the cheap hits that he talked about last year, you frustrate him, he gets into trouble. Got electric stuff, but you can beat him. Mets fan, no, he's not. Sorry, no, he's not. He's not. Strider is not. Look, Mets fan, all you're talking about is strikeouts. Everybody strikes out in baseball. All right, when every batter in baseball strikes out 150 times when they play every day, strikeouts are like wins nowadays. I'm sorry, right? Strikeouts are not big anymore. Scherzer had 10 strikeouts. He should have won the game then, no? It's not all about strikeouts, right? He can have 12 strikeouts. Look, Scherzer, 10 strikeouts in a game, still gave up 4 runs. Yeah, I know, Alexander. And you know what? And those stats are funny to me because it's all about history. And I also hate people talking about history because it really doesn't matter. Because if that's the case, the Braves should have won in 2022 if history mattered, right? It's not that cut and dry. He's not the best in baseball. Is he one of the best? I think he's going to get there, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that he is now. Look, you're looking at the strikeouts, but you're not looking at the other numbers. His walks are high, right? He has games where he can't get out of his own way. If he doesn't have his fastball and locate his fastball, he's walking the ballpark. So again, this is not a reprimandum on Strider probably not dominating the Mets. I bet Strider will have a good game, but that doesn't mean that he's the best pitcher in baseball, right? The Mets have made bad pitchers look like Cy Young. Yeah, Mets fan, I agree with you. I never said he wasn't Cy Young caliber, but he's not the best pitcher in baseball. He's not. Easily Epler, because Epler gave the roster to Buck, specifically to pitching. All right, we can talk about the lineup until the cows come home, guys. The lineup, again, the numbers, when you look at the overall numbers, right, all together when it comes with, in the league where they rank and stuff like that, it doesn't look good. But if you break it down game by game, which I like to do because that's where analytics gets people to another stratosphere. Look at the game-by-game stats. How many times the Mets scored 4 runs and 5 runs, leading in ball games, losing games late. Cut and dry right here, the last 2 games. Mets fan, I would have to be, no? I mean, the way they've been playing 4-2 would be great on this road trip. But you have to win tomorrow. I'm sorry. Can this team show a little bit of a desperate feeling tomorrow? I thought they would come out today. I don't think they played bad today. I think the lineup did their job. Like, what are you supposed to do when Acuna makes that great catch? And Pham wasn't even supposed to be in the game. The same fans that said that, why didn't Vientos come into the game instead of Pham? Well, you have egg on your face today. Because if it wasn't for Pham, the Mets would have lost 7-1. 7-2. But Mets fan, Arias, again, you brought this up the last time. Who are the Mets giving up to get him? The Mets didn't have a Pablo Lopez to give up, who was actually pitching very well for the Twins. Yeah, Mets fan, you got to stop with Arias. Like, again, you're another one that's in Monday morning quarterback. Oh, Arias. Oh, yeah, okay, great. Like, you want everybody the Mets don't have, right? Do you want JD Davis back? I guarantee you, the same one that wanted to run him out of town last year, right? It doesn't work like that. Monday morning quarterbacks don't work here. All right, stop doing after the fact. Nick, I would still pick the Braves again. Go back to my video with the season preview, my predictions for the division. I've said this on my channel many times, and you can quote me on this every single time. So for everybody who thinks that I'm just a biased Mets fan that is just pro Mets, you're mistaken. Do I lean towards Mets sometimes? Absolutely. I'm a Mets fan. Why wouldn't I? I never take away a division from a team until another team takes that division. I picked the Braves to win a division prior to the season. And this wasn't me just, trying to jinx the Braves or anything like that. I don't believe in that shit. All right. If the whole team is healthy and everybody's playing to the back of their baseball cards, the Braves are a better team. But Nick, Weren't the Braves better than the Phillies last year? Why didn't you beat the Phillies? It's not so cut and dry. Baseball is not so cut and dry. That is the right. The Mets just won the first 2 games. The Braves just won the first 2 games against the Mets. The Mets swept the A's. The Braves lost 2 out of 3 to the A's. How does that make sense? Shouldn't that be the other way around? That's why baseball doesn't make sense. Frank from Barstool was right. No, Frank is the biggest crybaby known to man. And he's the biggest big Baba Galoosh, and it's just a crybaby. He is the worst type of Mets fan because the Mets can win a World Series and he'll find negativity towards it. That's the problem with him. Yeah, committee, I was there in 2021 when the Pirates played us tough. Jacob Stallings hits a game-winning grand slam to left field. I was there with the 7 line. Watching that ball float away into the left field bleachers. Oh, terrible. So, once again, guys, the Mets lose 7-5. Once again, having leads and blowing leads. I'm sorry, when you play your division rivals, you gotta win those games. If the Mets never had a lead in any of these games, we can talk all day long about whatever you want to talk about and criticize the whole team. But when you have leads and the offense they gave early lead today. First inning, second inning, 1 run, 2 run lead, 1-0 lead, 2-0 lead. Scherzer had 10 strikeouts. According to the Mets fan, strikeouts is all that matters because he looks at Strider and sees his top in the league in strikeouts, think he's the best pitcher in baseball. If you just look at strikeouts, then Scherzer should have won the game. Yeah, Nick, it's fine. And again, I'm another one. Again, look at my projections. I picked the Marlins to have a good season. I think I had them, if not 500, 2 or 3 games over 500 to finish the season because of their pitching, and that's without what's his name? Oh, Jesus Christ, Alvarado, whatever. Your ace pitcher. I'm sorry, it's blanking right now the name. Without him pitching well, the Marlins are playing well because their pitching's really good. And let's not act like Arias is not helping. It is. But come on, guys. Like, you can't have multiple leads in games and blow them. And then you're going to come back and talk about the lineup. And I see it already on Twitter. I see it already. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. And we're going to talk about the lineup. Right? Did Vogelback lose this game for us? Or was it Max Scherzer, Ottavino, and Rayleigh? We'll talk about yesterday. It was Drew Smith yesterday. It was Carrasco not getting through the 6th. It's the pitching. Alcantara, thank you so much. Right? Without Alcantara, the Cy Young, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, not pitching well, the Marlins are still playing extremely well, which I thought they were going to be a good team. Right? In the beginning of the season, what was the joke? Oh, the Mets can only beat the Marlins. Well, it looks pretty good now, doesn't it? You see what I'm saying, guys? It works both ways. And again, the Mets, if one thing goes right, the other thing goes wrong. It's been a constant back and forth. The pitching pitches well, the offense doesn't show up. The offense plays well, the pitching doesn't show up. I would say maybe 5 or 6 games this year where both came together, and it probably was early in April. That's a problem. And if they don't figure out their pitching, which I don't see how they're going to figure out the bullpen, because there ain't nothing coming. There ain't no trades happening right now, most likely. At least that is worth anything. You got to hope these guys start pitching better. If not, we're going to be going through the motion this year, and it's going to be a huge problem. And then heads are going to turn. Again, you got 100 games left. Exactly 100 games left. Right? You see this here, like the Mets should, as soon as Alonso came out of the game over. Nick, I appreciate the super sticker, buddy. I appreciate that. From the Marlins fan. Appreciate that, buddy. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, Alonso came out of the game, Pham pinch ran, and the first thing I heard on Twitter and in group chats, why wasn't Vientos put in? Well, if Pham wasn't put in the game, the Mets probably would have lost 7-2. So, sometimes decisions by Buck aren't so bad, right? So maybe Buck knew something we didn't. Again, not giving him all the credit. He's made stupid decisions this year. But name me a manager that makes every right move, right? You heard the Braves fans in the chat with 2 pitchers that came in that they didn't want in the game. So all these managers make decisions that the fans can't wait to get on a manager. But if they work out, I'm going to stay quiet. Let me find Vogelback to bitch about, right? Because if the Mets would have won this ball game, it would have been nothing about Buck. Even if people thought that he should have put a pitcher in at a certain time, it would have been about Vogelback. Just because you need something to bitch about. The Mets can win the World Series, and Frank the Tank and probably a few others will find something negative to talk about. Well, in the 3rd inning, this should have happened. Yet we're running down the Canyon of Heroes. Morton, it wasn't intentional at all. Morton looked like his reaction showed you that he wasn't trying to do anything. It just so happened it was Pete Alonso. Nick, the only reason why I'm saying that this is no credit to the Mets. The National League is not that good, right? You got the Phillies. I know they've been playing a little bit better somewhat, but the Padres are not really playing that well. The Phillies are not playing that well. Are the Marlins going to keep it up? Possibly. We're playing the Pirates. We're 3.5 games out of a wild card. We're playing the Pirates, who are second in the wild card, maybe third in the wild card now. I think the Marlins jumped over. So you're playing the team that's in front of you. Beat them. The reason why it's not over, because I've watched the Nationals, Braves, and Phillies have terrible first halves and pick it up in the second half, and it changed their season. That's why you can never say it's over. Because of the wild card, because of the fact that you've seen the last couple of years what can happen when you have all you need is one thing to turn the season around, and it can turn around. Not saying that the Mets will, but with 100 games left and striking distance of a wild card spot, right? The second and third wild card team made the NLCS last year in the Padres and Phillies with 89 wins and 87 wins. It's looking like the National League, it might take 85 wins to get into the playoffs this year, the way the National League is looking. That's the only hope. It's no credit given to the Mets because they don't deserve any. But looking at a positive direction, the National League is bad, and the Mets are lucky that it is bad this year. Maybe they will be. For how many years? 2021, last year. They started off pretty good, and then they died down the stretch. Maybe it switches this year, like Hayden just said. Is it possible? Yeah, it doesn't look possible now. I mean, why would it right now, right? We look like a fool if you say, oh, probably will. No, that's not true. It's not fair to say. But we've seen it in our own division 3 out of the last 5 years with the Nationals, the Phillies, and the Braves. 2 of them won World Series. And by the way, this time last year, the Mets are what? 8.5 games out? If I'm not, what is it, 7.5 games out? I think that's what it is. Right? Yes, 7.5 games out. Look at 2022 last year and tell me how many games the Braves were out. 8.5. All right. So anything's possible if you there's that one moment in the season. Yeah, well, you know what? Nobody was getting reinforcements last year either. But the Braves, the Nationals, and the Phillies made deadline deals where they think they needed some help. And they did it. Well, Nick, that's a different story. 100 games into the season, breaking up a manager that, again, I go back to this. Who are you replacing him with? Because you can't replace somebody that's much worse. And again, everybody wants to fire Buck, but who are you replacing them with? If it's during the season, you're not bringing in Beltran from the front office. It's not happening. Everybody wants Beltran because all of a sudden, who cares about the strike 3 call, right? He was a great player for the Mets. That doesn't mean he's going to be a good manager. All right? What, Eric Chavez? The same Eric Chavez who pinched hit Luis Guillorme when he had a couple of better bats on the bench in a big spot? Come on. Like before, at the end of the season, If the Mets don't make the playoffs, then we can talk about and critiquing Buck and Billy. We already want Billy out because he gave Buck this team. It's very hard for a manager to do his job. We talked about this with Aaron Boone over and over again. If you listen to Yankee fans on WFAN, right? With the lineup, what is Aaron Boone supposed to do when he gets this lineup? Cashman gives him an all or nothing lineup who hits home runs or bust, nothing else. He puts the lineup out there. What is he supposed to do? And then it's Aaron Boone's fault? Makes no sense. Now Aaron Boone has other problems. He's Buck Showalter in the playoffs when it comes to bullpen management. But again, we blame every move a manager can get blamed for or get credit for by every move. You can't be Monday morning quarterbacks after the fact and say, oh, I would have done this. Of course you look like a genius. It comes back to the same thing, right? Pitching wins championships. And if you look why the Phillies got better, yes, they started hitting more home runs, but their bullpen got better and their starting pitchers started to pitch better. That's why they made their run. Their pitchers started to pitch better. Their pitching staff. Same thing with the Braves. Look at 2021. Yes, Soler and Rosario had the postseason to remember in 2021 for the Braves. But look back at the pitching staffs. Minus Max Fried, everybody else in that rotation and in that bullpen were lights out. The Nationals 2019, they had the worst bullpen in history in 2019. They made moves at the deadline to help that bullpen. And, Doolittle, who was garbage in 2019, all of a sudden turned it around because he got a little bit more help in that bullpen. Changed the whole season, and it took him right to the playoffs. And went right through that run. Well, Hayden, everybody was talking about power. The Mets had a stretch of 15 out of the last 16 games prior to the series of hitting home runs. The Mets have been hitting home runs here, right? They're still losing ball games, so it's clearly not the power that is the issue. The Mets lineup is not made for power. They're falling into a trap that too many teams fall into. If you're going to be a power team, you better hit home runs or you're going to lose. And again, this is not the problem with the lineup right now. It's the pitching. But again, the lineup, again, they're hitting more home runs from the middle of May until this moment today than they did probably in the last 100 games, the way they've been playing. They've been hitting for power. So what do you want? This team is not made for power. And if you're going to make them be power hitters, you're going to lose games. What they did there in that spot, what I told you, Nimmo was on first, took the walk. McNeil hit it through the hole, first to third. That's how the Mets do it. Lindor took a walk. Mets had bases loaded with 1 out. Unfortunately, Acuna made a great catch, or that could have changed the whole game. Yeah, I understand that, but the Nationals weren't a very young team, okay? Let's be honest. They had a Scherzer that was up there in age, right? They had Zimmerman that was on the last leg. It's not like they had a lot. They had Soto, obviously. But again, is it really the age that has really been the problem? Or was it the guys not executing, right? Ottavino's young. He's in his prime. Robinson's up there in age, but he's been our best bullpen arm. Raley is up there, but he's had a good year. The guys are not executing. And again, Scherzer had a 4-1 lead. This game is on Scherzer. We'll give you that. No. I'm not saying the offense is good. But why are you blaming the offense when they scored 5 and 4 runs and gave the pitchers lead multiple times in a ball game? How about the pitchers execute for once? Because I can give you more games where the lineup won games than the pitchers won games. I don't want fucking Chapman, please. Keep Chapman in the box, please. Yeah, okay, exactly. But again, Ottavino had his best year of his career, right? People had no problem with that signing. People had no problem with that Robinson signing. Everybody liked the trade for Raley. That was a good move. 2 of those guys were in the game today. They couldn't hold any lead. or they couldn't keep the game tied. It's on the pitching. Again, I'm not going to say that the lineup is great. I never said that. But when you have both games, when you have 4-1 leads, you can't hold a lead, and then we're going to talk about the lineup. Nick, there's nobody else to call up. There's one more player to call up, Mauricio. So Mauricio would have hit a solo home run, and we would have lost 7-6 today. No, Hayden is probably 1 or 2. But even that goes back to pitching as well, right? That tells you that the Mets, the hitting was good too. Yeah, Aaron Loop too, I know. But listen, guys, the point of the matter is you gave your staff lead. You gave your rotation leads, and you gave your bullpen a chance to keep us in a game that was tied or keep a lead. They didn't do that. Unfortunately, if the pitching does the turnaround, again, did we watch the Colorado series? Right? Scherzer pitched a good game. Right? So it ain't all about the thin air in Colorado. So I guess Scherzer, who should have got rocked in Colorado, wasn't done there, but he's done in Atlanta. One bad inning in any game by any starter can change a complexion of a ball game. But he has to hold the lead there. I'm sorry. And, you lose. So, once again, guys, the Mets lose 7-5, lose the series. At the very grace of God, they got to try to salvage the series tomorrow and go into Pittsburgh into some type of little bit of momentum, I guess. But I don't even know how the Mets are going to figure out how to win the game tomorrow. Unless Verlander goes 9 innings and the Mets score 5 runs, who do we trust? Because I'm telling you, Verlander's thinking right now, I probably have to go 7 or 8 innings because who do you trust in the bullpen other than Robinson? It's frustrating. But, I mean, if we would have got 6, even 7 quality innings, is there any guarantee that Ottavino wouldn't have gave up a lead or gave up the tie game or Raley? The 2 guys that you probably would trust in that bullpen than anybody else other than Robinson? It's rough. It's a problem. And until that's figured out, if it doesn't get figured out, we're going to go through the motions in 2023, and then heads will turn at the end of the season. So once again, guys, Mets lose 7-5, lose the series. Tomorrow, Verlander on the mound against Spencer Strider. Be a very interesting game. Again, the Mets got to find a way to win. They found a way to lose these 2 games. Like, you can give credit to the Braves, but the Mets lost this game. The pitchers did not show up, and that's a huge problem. So with that said, everybody have a good night. Let's go Mets. Mets lose 7-5 to the Braves and look to salvage a game tomorrow with JV on the mound for the Mets. So with that said, let's go Mets. Everybody have a good night. I'll see you next time, guys.